The Singers by Charles Bukowski. It was a Sunday night. I found a booth, ordered a beer and dinner, and waited. There were two musicians, a man with a guitar and a woman who sang with a man as he played. They went from table to table, from booth to booth, serenading the customers who were mostly families with children. The songs were popular melodies that I had heard many times before and despised. It was tired stuff, worn and played to death. My dinner was slow in arriving, and I ordered another beer. The singers finished at a table, then turned and approached me. I raised my hands and waved them off, said no, no, no. They walked past to the booth behind me and began. They'd wanted to share their mediocre music with me, but I had warded them off. I felt quite proud of my quick decision to do so. My dinner arrived, and I ate in peace. 10 years ago, maybe even 5, I would have allowed the singers to descend on me, but no longer. Often it takes a lifetime to learn how to react to certain critical situations. It's worth waiting for the arrival of maturity and confidence. Try it sometimes and see how delightful it is to feel powerful and alive. Oh, I didn't see you guys come in. Welcome to Bitcoin Talk Show. I was just reading a little bit of Charles Bukowski sifting through the madness for the word, the line, and the way. New poems released after his death. Interesting stuff there about the singers and his choice to send them away. Certain times you've got to do that. You've got to just say, I've had enough of your mediocre music. I don't want to hear it anymore. And we're just going to get right into it today on Bitcoin Talk Show because against all odds, we have some very exciting price action. So today is Friday, July 27th, 2018. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin suddenly is up 2.63% in the last 24 hours, or maybe even the last 24 minutes, with a last of 8,142, a high of 8,294, and a low of 7,806. That's $1 for 12,282 Satoshis. Checking out the big board of the top 10 altcoins, we see Ethereum down 2%, Ripple down 1.25%, Bitcoin Cash down 2%, EOS down 3%, Stellar down 3%, Litecoin down 3%, Cardano down 5%, IOTA down 3%, and Tether holding steady at number 10 in the top 10 altcoins. Why is the price going back up? We're not really sure right now. Certainly, everyone was excited and thrilled yesterday by the news that the Winklevoss twins Bitcoin ETF was rejected by the SEC. And I mean thrilled sarcastically. However, there was good news throughout all of this as the SEC commissioner officially dissents from the new Bitcoin ETF decision, unveiling merit regulation. As she said in her dissent, in addition, I am concerned that the Commission's approach undermines investor protection by precluding greater institutionalization of the Bitcoin market. More institutional participation would ameliorate many of the Commission's concerns with the Bitcoin market that underlie its disapproval order. More generally, the Commission's interpretation and application of the statutory standard sends a strong signal that innovation is unwelcome in our markets, a signal that may have effects far beyond the fate of Bitcoin ETFs. And she goes on in more detail in the article below. But look at what she says here. Innovation. This may send a strong signal that innovation is unwelcome in our markets. And I think she's right on here. I think many of their concerns about the newness and the volatility of the Bitcoin market would be solved if they allowed the Bitcoin ETF. If they allowed more money to come into Bitcoin, it would become less volatile. If they allowed more professional institutions like the CBOE and for a lesser extent, the Winklevi organization to come in and begin holding these assets for customers on a large scale, it will lead to more Bitcoin uses. It'll lead to less volatility. The things that they're worried about would go away if they allowed the Bitcoin ETF to go through. We're checking out the news on the big Google this morning. Mainly, it's all Winklevi Twin Bitcoin ETF rejection news. Here's a little bit more. Oh, no, that's a different story. We'll save that one for later. But yes, Bitcoin slumps a day after SEC puts brakes on Winklevi ETF. Bitcoin bull run of over 500% might occur if Bitcoin ETF gets approved, according to research. And that's again why people are so excited about this ETF. The ETF means many things. Certainly, from one perspective, retail investors could invest their pre tax money, their 401ks, their retirement plans, which are not taxed until you take the money out. They could invest that into Bitcoin. Additionally, they wouldn't have to worry about holding the Bitcoin. They would trust the Bitcoin ETF to hold the Bitcoin. Additionally, the Bitcoin ETF would now, and according to my understanding, be required by law to hold a certain percentage of their Bitcoin, likely a very large percentage. So we'd have a large amount of Bitcoins being essentially taken off the market. They would be bought and held. The tickets, the ETF tickets, would trade around. They would be like a currency, but the Bitcoin itself would be bought and held. This could be incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. And again, if you knew about this and if you could delay the decision, if you could influence the decision, if you could suddenly buy the day after the decision was gone through, things like that, there's a lot of potential for manipulation around such a large decision like a Bitcoin ETF, which could make the price rise more than 500%, according to research. Bitcoin misses out on 50K price spike with ETF uncertainty. It's the same story with a different headline. SEC puts off decision on 5 Bitcoin ETFs until September 2018. And this is why a lot of people were surprised by yesterday's announcement. We weren't exactly looking for the Winklevi ETF. The 5 Bitcoin ETFs that we were looking for, they're all on their first try. The Winklevi were on their second try. Presumably, that's why they were separated from the group. The 5 ETFs include Direction Daily Bitcoin Bear 1x shares, Direction Daily Bitcoin 1.25x Bull shares, Direction Daily Bitcoin 1.5x Bull shares, Direction Daily Bitcoin 2x Bull shares, and Direction Daily Bitcoin 2x Bear shares. So they're kind of all the same company, but there are 5 ETFs there, which again shows how complex they think this market is. They aren't just asking for one Bitcoin ETF, they're asking for a whole series of Bitcoin ETFs, presumably based upon the amount of leverage or the direction that it's going. They're labeled bull and bear. I assume they're kind of like future shares or something like that. They would be weighted a certain direction. You would buy based upon what you think Bitcoin is going to do in the future. If you think it's going to go up, how much you want to risk on it going up. Very interesting stuff. We also had a big article released yesterday in Rolling Stone, a very famous magazine, counterculture, Hunter S. Thompson, classic during the 60s and 70s, the music magazine. And it's about Brock Pierce. The headline is Brock Pierce, the hippie king of cryptocurrency. As the subtitle says, Brock Pierce went from child actor to Bitcoin billionaire, and now he wants to turn Puerto Rico into a Burning Man utopia. It's a pretty interesting article about a very interesting guy. Brock Pierce, the article says, is pretty much a billionaire now. He can do anything he wants to do, and it seems that he wants to make a lot of deals. The article describes Brock making DPM, or deals per minute, and that he is just constantly connecting people and making deals happen and building some kind of an empire down there in Puerto Rico. So, very interesting stuff. We might come back and talk about this more, especially if there's questions or calls about it or comments in the chat. Also, I reached out to Brock on Twitter yesterday, gave him a little nudge that now that he's a billionaire, maybe he could support the World Crypto Network, giving us a grant for $1 million. He didn't exactly say no, but he didn't exactly say yes. It's always great to get a reply back from Brock Pierce, especially given his ascension. It's very funny to know some of these people, and not that I know Brock well or that I know anyone in crypto that well, but I know I've met Brock, I've met Andreas, I know these guys a little bit, and to see them kind of transition from being a normal person. And certainly Brock was always a child actor and a venture capitalist, so he's always kind of had an air to him. But to see him transition from just a normal person into this, I don't know, this famous godlike person. I don't know. It's very strange. But Brock said he's been doing lots of little things. His first major announcement is coming soon. Let's discuss that. So maybe we'll be able to get an interview with Brock Pierce in the future. I'd love to talk about what he's talking about. And people think I'm flattering or kissing his ass here, but I am interested to see his plans. I'm excited, and according to the article, I'm personally concerned for Brock. I'm not sure he's getting enough sleep, and I think he might be doing a little too much of whatever he wants. But I hope that he'll get through that. And I just think, I mean, it might not help, but if I can help him get some sleep and take a break, he really needs it. And it's interesting because it's a lot like, I mean, I'd suggest you watch the movie Brewster's Millions. I really think Richard Pryor put some genius in there. I've also read the book from the 1900s, and there's something about this, what you do when you have a lot of money. And I fear reading this article and the other article, Brock might burn out in 3 to 5 years, mentally and physically. He just might not be able to carry this. So if he could take a more relaxed schedule, I think it would be good for him and maybe even good for the world. I mean, it seems like the projects that Brock wants to invest in are generally good and good-hearted. Certainly, he made a lot of money, and you have to do a lot of things to make a lot of money. So things happen along the way. But then Stalwart suggested that Brock could do a trust, like the one given to NPR when Ray Kroc's wife passed away. I thought it was a crazy coincidence. I'm also reading Ray Kroc's book. Ray Kroc, of course, founded McDonald's, or well, didn't found McDonald's, but helped McDonald's spread and really made it into the franchise opportunity that it is. Brock also says he's happy to discuss ways to decentralize the media. So hopefully we can tie that into what we're doing here at the World Crypto Network. It would be great to work with Brock and to have some funding and get things going. But in case that doesn't come through, we always have our Tally Coin campaign. I'm going to give it a good refresh here, see if I can get the latest version of Tally Coin. Well, maybe that's not going to work. We're taking a chance here. Oh, here we go. The latest version. He said that I could move the QR code around or something. Oh, here it is. Okay, that's kind of it. All right. Well, we have a bigger QR code now on Tallycoin, and I can tell you in our quest to raise $1 million, we've raised $15.35. Very cool. So less than zero point 0.0, but at least the goal is lower. We're back to 123 Bitcoins instead of 125. So we got some Bitcoin love on this one. Also want to suggest that you donate to Max's Tallycoin campaign right here. Max is attempting to raise $240 so that they can give out dollars at this conference that they're going to. They're kind of new to Bitcoin, so they need some extra dollars to hand out. So if you want to donate now to the QR code on your screen, we had a little bit of a donation, a 0.00062 Bitcoin, about $5.08. So if you want to donate now to support Max handing out dollar bills in Bitcoin. And of course, Tallycoin is yours to use. Very cool. You can check out tallyco.in. All you do is you bring a Bitcoin address, you bring a goal of how much you want to fundraise, and that's it. The website just tracks your Bitcoin address. This link probably goes to blockchain.info. Almost. It looks good in the address line, but it's not showing me the actual address page. But if we look right here, this was my fundraiser to raise $100 to buy a typewriter. Mainly thanks to this guy. This guy really came through with a 0.009 Bitcoin donation. But it's a group effort. And as we try to raise larger amounts, it'll be more of a group effort. It'll be a lot harder to just buy the fundraiser. But again, if you're rich enough, you could always go through and buy these fundraisers. It's pretty neat stuff. You can just, if you have money, you can go around doing nice things for people. And one of the nice things that my audience did is help me buy this cool looking typewriter, as recommended by Tom Hanks in the documentary California Typewriter. It's a Smith Corona silent writer, comes in case. And if Tom Hanks was going to be marooned on a desert island, He said that he would want this typewriter in a nice case. So I kind of had to get one. Not exactly a thing I need, but a fun thing. So we were talking about Brock's article, very interesting stuff. And it wasn't for all the other news. Brock would be the number one story today, no doubt. It's a big deal to be in Rolling Stone. This is the second major article about Crypto Rica. There was another one about a month or two ago in the New York Times. Very interesting crypto stuff going down there. I don't know whether it's going to be a utopia or a dystopia. I think it's very interesting. I talked to the guys about it last night at the Bitcoin meetup. One of them was very concerned about global warming. He didn't think it was a good idea to be on a small island that has a hurricane season, and that would be a big threat. On the other hand, if someone goes down there with money and cryptocurrency and the power of Bitcoin and positive ideas, maybe they could rebuild the coral reefs. Maybe they could build some artificial structures out there, something like that, to try to slow the path of the hurricanes. They could turn the whole thing around. I mean, they can't control the rising sea levels, though. That's still an issue. There's also some concern of the people revolting and overthrowing the cryptocurrency overlords. I hope that doesn't happen, but there's always a possibility and there's always a chance. It's just kind of a foreign man in a foreign country kind of feeling there. You could watch that documentary about McAfee, Gringo, if you're interested. It's on Netflix. Interesting stuff happens to even $100 million man when he goes south of the border. But interesting stuff from Brock, doing well on our $1 million fundraiser, even with our giant QR code. Very cool, bigger than life, larger than life. And yeah, a lot of people favorited and supported the idea that Brock should support the World Crypto Network. There was a question in the chat: what would I do with $1 million? Well, basically, budget wise, I think we'd be able to last at least 1 to 2 years worth of runway on $1 million. We would start to pay people. So we would be able to, pay myself. We'd be able to pay Corey, who's working on our social networking and our podcasting. We'd be able to pay the guy who converts the podcasts from video into audio, and we would be able to hire more people to do more jobs. One of the things I'd like to hire for would be an editor, a person who could go through and cut up old shows, making clip shows and highlighting good shows in the archive. I think we have an incredible amount of material here from the past that we've made and that we don't exactly have the ability to showcase it. A lot of people watching right now don't know that Andreas Antonopoulos was one of the original contributors to the World Crypto Network because we haven't really shown it to you. We're not bragging. We don't want to just monopolize or capitalize on Andreas's reputation or anything. But I think in general, we have a lot of good quotes and a lot of good things that people have said that are in the archive here that could use some recognition. So I think we could do that with an editor. It's a boring job. You have to sit there and edit the videos. You have to watch all the videos. We would also make an archive similar to the Howard Stern archive, where you'd be able to search the World Crypto Network. Certainly, this would be aided by Google, who's created subtitles for most or perhaps all of our videos. If we could get those subtitles offline, if we could index them, if we could bring them up, if we could start to tag episodes for keywords, we would be able to really get control of our archives and begin, doing what the Stern people do, which is find creative ways to make the archives interesting. Things like having clip shows, having today in Bitcoin history or today in World Crypto Network history, a way to really recognize our former contributors and maybe even to bring them back and to remind them of how fun it is to contribute to the World Crypto Network. So that would be one of the things we do. I believe that Corey would want to spend some of the money on advertising. Basic, the idea being that if we put the money in there, we get more viewers. If we get more viewers, we get more comments and interaction, and the whole thing grows. Basic things like branding, websites, Twitter, having someone to run the Twitter account, maybe hiring some people to write articles for the World Crypto Network homepage, something like that. Trying to get a couple more of our people to move here to Las Vegas, as well as using the funding just in general on like the flyers, like using the money to build better flyers, better stickers, better swag, getting the T-shirt thing worked out so you could guys could buy T-shirts and hats, things like that, and just trying, at a higher level, I think one of the main expenses beyond just paying salaries and people, which is something that we've never done here. So it'd be a really nice thing to even get people a basic salary, not a large salary. We're not crazy with the money. The other thing is we'd rent an office. We'd rent an office or a studio, and this would give us a place to go to every day and a place to have other people go to, a place for the editor to work, all that kind of stuff. So and I believe that we could do 2 years on $1 million. I hope that we could raise revenue through podcast advertising, through donations, through Patreon, through becoming more popular, which drives up all of those numbers. That would generate some revenue, hopefully, to keep us going in the future. But in general, I do kind of have kind of a PBS, National Public Radio type thing here, where someone like Brock or someone else could come in with money to support the project, and that it would be more like a grant, more like a Carnegie project than a money-making project. It's not, unless you sell out and start doing advertisements and start doing commercial interviews and interviews with the founders of the cool new project or whatever it is. Unless you go that way, it's really hard to make money in media. If you look at the news divisions of whatever channel it is, they're pretty much losing money unless they're sensationalist. If you go to Anchorman 2, a great movie, even with the bizarre second half, there's a great part in there. There's a lot of great parts where he explains how the news business works. And the reason that the Anchorman 2 news business is so good and so interesting is because they make it sensational. He does the pro-America news, and he does the squirrels riding jet skis. And we don't do squirrels riding jet skis here. Certainly we could. There's possibilities and there's options, and we could put ICOs on jet skis for you, and we could print a coin, and we could do all these kind of things. But we're trying not to. We don't want to. And it would be really cool if Brock or someone else like that wanted to invest and contribute to the World Crypto Network. Wouldn't even necessarily have to be a famous person. Could be somebody like that pineapple guy who just donates $1 million and disappears. Could be somebody totally unknown who just mined Bitcoin early or bought it early, and you're sitting there on the beach and you're like, yeah, I kind of like listening to these talk shows in the background, and I'll bet if I gave those guys money, they'd make more of those talk shows, given their track record of making talk shows. And I like the idea of bringing up the archives and helping people appreciate that, and doing some advertising and conventional work, like sending us to a few conferences or something to promote the idea and to get more recordings like we did with the Mises Institute. And if you think that's a cool idea, let us know. Donate to our Tally coin, or reach out to us, or just figure out a way, because you can get involved here at the World Crypto Network. That's pretty much our messages. You can get involved, whether you're Brock Pierce, or whether you're Trace, or Roger Ver, or someone we don't even know. So there's lots of ways to get involved and to help out with the World Crypto Network. So very interesting article about Brock. I'm going to probably check in with the price now, see if we managed to hold. I know people are super excited because it bounced hard. A lot of guys at the meetup are probably not looking for this bounce. We had a couple of guys saying, yeah, it's going to do another big spike downward. It's going to hit 5K. That's when I'm going to get in. I'm waiting on the sidelines. But Bitcoin doesn't exactly listen to what you want, right? It doesn't just do yesterday we were like, oh yeah, no Winklevi ETF, everyone's down. Now it looks like we've erased the entire gap. I don't know if we're going to stay at this 8150 level that we're at right now, if we're going to try to get back to this 8400. But price-wise, that's a big middle finger right there, saying that all you suckers sold yesterday on that Winklevi ETF thing, you don't have the insider, the knowledge. Like, somebody out there is saying, hey, September 10th is still out there. August 10th is still out there. This ETF thing is still out there. So,
yes.
And we're joined by Max. I was just reading the chat. They're savaging Bukowski. So they're savaging Bukowski, and under some false impression that editing the World Crypto Network would be a fun job.
Oh,
let me tell you,
it would be. It would be. Wouldn't that be amazing? Going through like hours and hours of that kind of content with Andreas Antonopoulos, with like a early Mad Bitcoins, which is hilarious. And so cool to have seen you grown from like that early stage to now where you are now. It's amazing to go back and watch like the journey of a creator. And I really, really like that.
Well, it is like that in the Twyla Tharp book. She's a choreographer, and she recommended that you listen to the Beatles albums in order. And I've done that, and it's fantastic. The Beatles start off so basic in their songs, so like strummy, so like happy dippy, you know, da da da, sing a song, and they get so complicated, and also they develop as individuals. You can hear the difference between a George song and a Paul song or a John song or one of the rare Ringo songs. But yeah, there's a lot to learn from watching the Beatles or any other artist that you enjoy from the beginning, or even like movies, going back and watching like Quentin Tarantino films in order, something like that. There's a lot to be gained. But yeah, I think it would be fun, but it would also be tedious because the thing about this channel is I do try to watch back most of my shows. I want to see how the audio sounds. I want to see how I sounded. I try to see how many times I say or I gap or something. I make noises, whatever it is. I'm trying to pick those up and do better the next time. But even I'm exhausted at watching some of these shows. And there's points where we did 8-hour shows. And I'm like, well, I can't rewatch that. That would take the whole day. And I'm just going to do another 8-hour show today. So it's just, you know.
But you know, the cool thing is and I love that feature about YouTube. Yeah, Google Hangout and YouTube, they fucked up in many, many ways. But the 2x speed and the 1.5x speed is worth so much, because you can get through the content so much faster. Because guess what? We are slow talkers. Well, I'm actually a faster talker than others, but there are many slow talkers, right? And if you listen to them on slow, then you are like thinking on the way off something else all the time, because it is like talking like this. It's boring, you know? It's boring. And so what you can do is you can compress the content and get it in a like highly dense format. So number one, you can watch more videos, but number two, you listen much more attentively. Because if there's actually something going on, your mind can go much faster than our mouth. You are always like more active if the content is denser and you have to pick up more information on the way. Because otherwise you're just bored. So I love that feature about YouTube. Gives you so much more content. It's amazing.
It's pretty funny. I've met people in person and they're surprised. They're like, "You're talking too slow. Talk faster." And they're like, "I'm so used to going. You go really fast like this, and you talk like this, and you look because I listen to you on 2x speed." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm just a person in normal life. You can't get me on 2x speed here." But yeah, people have definitely said that to me, and it is different to think about what you're saying and then to say it versus just to be able to rattle off a script or something like that. A lot of our shows are live like this, so you know.
Yes, and not scripted whatsoever, really, not at all. But to go back to something that you earlier talked about, which I just have to pick up on that, is the donation aspect, and just how important it is and how useful it is, right? Because you know, the World Crypto Network has been such a long thing, right? And of course, they've done so much work for no pay whatsoever. If you count up all those hours, and you know, the opportunity costs are so big, it's crazy. So it's definitely something that is underpaid. But the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be, and it kind of has to be if you know you have the fiat money that's not really that useful. But with Bitcoin, it's so damn useful that even with a little amount of money, you can actually do quite a bit. And yeah, you talked about getting the studio and everything, and that's amazing. You know, using it actually to do big investments, that's fantastic. But what I find even more interesting is how you can use it to onboard people. Because, for example, as you said earlier, I'm going to this festival the next weekend, and we're going to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to leave at 3 o'clock at night. This is the first day. The second day starts at 8 o'clock, so we can sleep in a bit. But it still continues till like the next evening, 12, at least, probably longer. So this is going to be a long-ass time. All we're going to do is onboard people, right? It's the hippie festival. It's a bunch of alternative people. Perfect place to talk to them. We're going to have a big Bitcoin booth and everything. We're going to donate our time. We're not going to make any money out of that. On the contrary, we want to give money away. We want to give Bitcoin away, because the best way to experience Bitcoin and to learn Bitcoin is by actually getting some, by using it as a currency, peer-to-peer. And that is the amazing attribute. And if you do that, like I've been doing for like 1.5 years now, you kind of lose a lot of Bitcoin. Not because you lose the keys, but because you hand them out, right? And then just asking for a little bit, doesn't have to be much, right? Just to onboard people. That is fantastic. And for example, now with this Bitcoin donation, I was like, okay, there are going to be like 1,500 more to like 2,000 people there at the minimum, probably even more. So I got to get out like a bunch of Bitcoin. Probably going to talk to like 500 people and try to give every one of them a little bit of it, right? But that's not too much, right? And now someone, like one person, donated 0.00062 Bitcoin. And you might think, that's only $5. That's almost nothing. That's a joke. And no, it's not. Because guess what? I usually, when I give Bitcoin away, I send 0.00001 Bitcoin. So that's 4 zeros and then the 1. That's 8 cents. That's not much. With transaction fees, especially how low they are right now on chain, you can get away with paying 9 cents, 9 to 10 US dollar cents for every transaction. Confirms within 10 minutes, all good, no issue there. And guess what? Guess how many transactions you can do with only, quote unquote, $5. You can make 62 transactions. So even that one tiny donation is going to help onboard 62 people. And out of those 62 people, if even 5% get it, and I'm sure that almost 80%, probably 90, 100% of them are going to get it, we're going to have like 30 new Bitcoin people. That's amazing. So this one little donation actively helped to onboard 30 new people at the minimum. That's amazing.
Trying to see if the thing will refresh right here, if it'll update, or if I have to hit refresh. Maybe if I hit refresh. Oh, still not working. All right, well, you guys can donate right now to the QR code on your screen to donate to Max's giveaway Bitcoin fund. All the Bitcoin sent to this account will be given away. So you're giving away money to be given away. That's what this account is for. This is not the $1 million donation account. That's a different account. That's $1 million to rent a studio and get 4K cameras, hire an editor, get a sound guy, get a special room to record in, get a big studio desk like Jon Stewart, do a weekly comedy show like The Daily Show, all those things, which, again, we're going to do anyway. Like, it doesn't matter if you give us $1 million or not, because we're going to do all that stuff anyway. But if you give us $1 million, we're going to do that stuff, and it's going to look better, and we're going to be able to eat food and all that kind of stuff. And we won't have to worry. Like, the problem is when you do something for free, everyone's like, that's not a job, that's a hobby. But if you do something for free and then someone pays you, you could be like, that's my job and it's also my hobby. And then they get all confused and they're like, your job can't be your hobby can't be your job. We have rules against that. And there it is right here, Tallycoin updating. Bam, look at that. $15.09 for Max to give out. Look at the magic of the internet, the Bitcoin. When you rig it yourself, when you put $10 in yourself. So there it is.
Isn't that amazing?
We've tripled now. How many people can we give away dollars to now? Or quarters even? What's the deal here?
That's now 185 people that we can actively onboard onto Bitcoin. And again, maybe 50% are going to get it. I hope more. That's what, 90 persons, 90 people, 90 new onboarded people that will be dedicated or at least interested in Bitcoin, that will watch a few Andreas videos, that will read Cypherbeans, the Bitcoin Standard, because that's the shit that I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to show ICOs, I'm not going to show anything else. There's Bitcoin. Here you have it. It's amazing. Use it. That's all I'm going to do.
And one of the reasons I started these shows in the beginning with Mad Bitcoins wasn't so much about the money or getting money, but it was about this idea right here, that you can put up a QR code on the screen and anyone anywhere can donate money to you over YouTube, over Twitter, over the banks, over all these other systems. The money goes directly to you. When we're talking about this fundraiser here with Max, usually I got to tell you, on a charity, there's a lot of overhead, right? Like, we're going to need an accountant to manage these donations. We're going to need somebody to verify that Max, did the right thing and spent these donations. And we're going to need an organizing committee, or we're just going to need a lot of stuff, right? But with Bitcoin, all we need is this QR code. And that's what's so great about this Tallycoin site, which I gave my roommate the idea 5 years ago, and he made it for a little while, and then it broke. And then we have this new one that DJ Booth just sent, is that Tallycoin, you just bring a Bitcoin address, it's secure, it's yours. This one's on my Trezor, you know, nobody's going to take, boom, updated again, $23.24. Woo! 9.5% to our goal. Let's see
Isn't that amazing, guys?
thermometer right here.
Isn't that? Come on, look at this. This is magic internet money. Do you see this?
It could have been anyone from anywhere. Like, we don't know where this money came from, and we're going to give it out to random people. Like, we have no intention of keeping this money. There's going to be very little fees. Like, we're going to pay little fees here and there. But other than that, there's no overhead. There's no charity. There's no taxes. There's no administrators or board of directors. We don't need any janitors. Like, there's nothing physical that we need. And this idea right here with Tallycoin, you can use this yourself to raise money on your YouTube channel or on your Twitter. He's working on a feature right now where you'll be able to take a screenshot of this and put it on Twitter. So you could do every day. You could be like, how's our fundraiser doing? 9.5%. How's our fundraiser doing? 12%. How's our fund? You know, just keep telling the people, and then they keep donating, and pretty soon you have a couple $100 to give out to people. So I see that people are giving us thumbs up down below, and that we went from 100 to 120 viewers. So Max, tell the people again, what is this fundraiser for? We're going to put the $1 million one aside because the price is going down. So tell people, what are we raising this money for today?
Well, it's to onboard people. Really, that's it. Again, it's a festival. It's a music festival. You know, they are around there all the time. That's all you need. You know, you just need a place with cool people, and some place where they have time and where they're in a good mood, right? This can be Vegas. Thomas is doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing, but he's doing it in Vegas. And just happens that there's a conference here, this music festival. I know the organizer, right? I got him to accept Bitcoin for all the tickets, and he gave a 30% discount on those tickets, as far as I know. And that is, you know, that's just something that he does because he's a cool dude. And I like that guy. He is actually really cool. He gave us the tickets for free, so we're not paying anything there. So all the money, we don't even have to pay the owner. But of course, like if we have something left over, that's going to him because he's amazing and a great guy. And you know, that's it. It's onboarding. It is pretty easy. It can be done by anyone. You just have to open your mouth and show them how it works. You know, don't even make it too difficult. Don't even talk about the technology behind it, the economics behind it. Don't even, I talk about the economics way too much, I know. But it's not good on the first conversation. It really isn't. Just show it to them. That's all you have to do. And you know how to do it. I hope you do it every day, right? Because Bitcoin transactions are fun. And you know, if you do it and you just go every time, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna explain how it works. So you, first of all, right, you can talk about the wallets, the different wallets that you can use. On the phone, right, I personally love Green Address. It's an amazing address, right, super secure. Bitcoin Core developers behind it. Got multi-signature on it, got time locks in it, uses the latest version of SegWit. It just supports Bitcoin. There's no other disturbing stuff. You know, it's not like Coinbase anymore where you have a bunch of coins. No, it's just Bitcoin. That's what it is. Perfect for onboarding. Super simple, but super sophisticated. Also talk about the ledger. Why? It's awesome. Most secure that you can do it, right? Talk to them what a hardware wallet is. You know, if you want to go into details, say that thing is never going to be connected to the internet. So nobody's going to steal your keys. Nobody's going to steal your Bitcoin. That is your safe. It's like the most secure you can store your money. Why? Well, because nobody's going to take it from you. It's mathematics, right? If you want to, you can go into the details. You don't have to. Just say it's your safe. Next, you're going to generate the key for them. And they're going to see it, one click. Boom. That's it. No name, no address, no email, nothing. One click. 1 billion Bitcoin accounts. What? What? You mean no paperwork? No boring paperwork? Yes, no boring paperwork. One click. It's an app now. Money's an app. That's as easy as it's going to be. You're going to tell them, write that stuff down. That's important, right? And they're not going to get much. So, you know, just say, okay, write it on a piece of paper, put it in your pocket. Doesn't have to be secure. It's only a couple cents, right? They might lose it. Okay, wouldn't be too bad, right? Nobody's going to hack it from them. It's not worth it. And well, then next that you're going to do is just tell them how the address is derived, that the address is their email address. Anyone, anywhere in the entire world can send them money on this email address, right? They don't even have to be on this planet, right? They could be in Mars. As long as they got an internet connection, you can send an email. Now you can send money from Mars. That's cool, right? That's amazing. Don't even talk about that you can send to another country. That's boring. We're going to send to Mars. What? Bitcoin on the moon? It literally is on the moon because it's in information space. It's amazing. It's just such a cool story to talk about. And then just send them the money. And that's it.
We do have a fundraising update. It looks like we continue to fulfill my personal goal of breaking software. We've guys have donated so much, you've broken Tallycoin. I don't know what's going on. DJ Booth's going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what happens. But we're going to refresh Tallycoin one more time, and then we're going to go to our Tallycoin backup, which is blockchain.info. Blockchain.info is also a very good Tallycoin, but not quite as pretty. So let's go to blockchain.info and give that a refresh. We are up to $54.42. That's more than 0.00666,496 Bitcoin. How many people can we onboard now, Max?
Oh, those are what? 666 people. Oh no, that's the number of the devil. Oh, 666. I don't think that's good.
Donate more to change this number. Donate more to change the number. Oh no.
Come on. That's bad luck. That's no. Okay, that's good. We actually really need more money now. It's urgent. Okay, it's urgent. It's an emergency.
It is great to see. Yesterday, DJ Booth said that he was using blockchain.info to generate the QR codes, and I told him it was broken, and it turned out it's broken on blockchain.info. Like,
oh, nice.
Remember when they changed it to blockchain.com and everyone's
we
like,
got more.
This is going to go great. And look, they've
saved.
The image. Oh, did we get it? Oh, yeah, another donation. Woo!
Thank you, guys.
Got rid of that 666.
Stop donating. That's it.
No, we have to reach this goal, even though we've broken Tallycoin. So we're gonna have to do this, by fingers, right? We're gonna have to count because Max set the goal in Bitcoin here. So the goal is a 0.03 Bitcoin. So we can see right here, our goal is 0.009. So we are very close. Our goal is 30, and we have raised 9. So thanks to everybody for your donations. Remember, this is money to be given away. So if you don't like giving away money, don't give away money because we're going to give it away. This is a pretty meta donation thing right here. Usually we get money for like a plane ticket or a typewriter or something less ephemeral. But Max is going to this convention. He's going to give them away. Let's see. They say in the chat, Ryan is going to the Shambhala Music Festival next week, and he's going to use my flyers as a template and open up the discussion to all the freaks. Very cool, Ryan. And that's exactly what my flyers are for. They're totally a template. I put up the PSD files. You can download the PDF files. You can just print them out. If you don't want to do anything creative, that's fine. If you want to edit them and put your own Bitcoin logo at the bottom, put your own donation code, do it. You're the one giving out those flyers. If you want to use the same basic structure and the information we put on there, that's great. We spent a lot of time trying to generate that information, talking to the Bitcoin Las Vegas meetup, getting everybody's ideas, and then trying to bring them all together into that flyer. I should get the flyer up on the screen so we could talk more about the flyer. But right now I want to go back to the fundraiser. It's funny, blockchain.info without a QR code is really worthless. I used to be able to just leave this screen on. Now we've created Tallycoin, which is awesome, but slightly broken. So we are right in between things here. You can tell you're on the cutting edge. But yeah, I'm going to go try to find the flyers so I could show you the flyers again. I especially want to show you the back of the flyers. This was kind of the hardest part because it's like the information section of the flyers, and everybody's got an opinion on how the information section on the flyers should look. But I think we did really good. I think it took a lot to get to this, but what we have here at the top, it says, how can I use Bitcoin? Send Bitcoin anywhere in the world to purchase anything that you want. I packed a lot of information into that statement there. Anything that you want. I'm including drugs and prostitution and kidnapping and gambling and whatever you want, right? Raw milk. Get it all with Bitcoin. And in the world, I mean that. Anywhere in the world, you can use Bitcoin. That's pretty amazing. That's a worldwide currency right there. And that's only one sentence. So these sentences are packed full of information. Sentence number 2, receive Bitcoin for what you do. It's irreversible, and there is no minimum balance or annual fee. See, we're going right up against the banks here. Bank transactions are all reversible. They're all cancelable. Everyone knows you can cancel your credit card, like the Macintosh server company that isn't replying to my tech support reports. I'm going to cancel my credit card on them. I'm going to tell my credit card they're a bunch of dirty scammers that don't respond to their email. That's the power of the credit card. But if you're a business owner, that's taking money out of your pocket because half the time the customer is lying, right? Half the time the customer used your product anyway and just doesn't want to pay. See the president for that. So this gets it all right there in just one sentence. Then we have our third sentence, which is HODL Bitcoin. There are only 21 million Bitcoins. Every 4 years, the number of Bitcoin discovered will reduce by 50%. Once again, we are packing the information in here. Maybe you didn't know there was a limited number of Bitcoin and that it's a relatively small number given the number of people on the planet. Bam, you know that right there. Maybe you don't know about the structure of the halvening and the way that Bitcoin's actually deflationary, that structure is going down, that he could have just printed the 21 million, been like, boom, here's 21 million. But instead he made this whole structure for it. And that's another part of Bitcoin's growth right now. Everybody, we're all dancing around 5,000, 8,000, 10,000. Who cares? When Bitcoin cuts in half in 2020, we're all going to be saying, gosh, 5,000 was a great buy. 8,000 was a great buy. 18,000 was a great buy, because the structure of this thing is designed to go up. It's limited and they keep getting more limited. So we're going to have supply problems, which is going to push the price up and it's going to put the number of units that we use down. We're going to start using Bitcoin on a lower level, 0.01, 0.001. These are going to be the common amounts that you send in Bitcoin. Whereas years ago, you could send Bitcoins and, you would send 10 coins or 5 coins or 100 coins. Now, if you send 100 coins, you just made someone a millionaire. If you make a mistake when you're donating to our Tallycoin fundraiser here, and instead of giving Max $200 to give away, you give him $1 million to give away, well, golly gee, what are we going to do? I mean, we're nice people. We'd give you the money back. We'd laugh at you,
Well,
millionaire. But at the same
maybe.
time, if you're a millionaire with like 10 million or 100 million and you just don't care anymore, and you want to see the world be a more interesting place, you want to think about what Vonnegut said about the one real man. And Vonnegut told this story once where he said, everyone is a robot except this one real man. And every situation is just trying to figure out what this one real man is going to do. And when the man died, God wrote on his tombstone that man always kept God guessing. He always kept God guessing. And that's what I think we should try to be, is entertaining and interesting. And I think it would be super entertaining and interesting if some Bitcoin millionaire dropped $1 million on us, especially in this account, because Max controls this one. We would be stuck to the whims of King Max or something. Things would change. But right now, we are still looking for your donations to give away money at this festival. We're up to 0.009 towards our goal of 0.03, which is about 30, the way we're calculating things today. Looks like we are back at the number of the devil on Tallycoin at 66.63.
No.
It seems, if I had to take a guess, I'd say that Tallycoin might be waiting for a confirmation and that it might not be seeing unconfirmed confirmations, if I had to guess backwards at this thing. But there it is. We are looking for your donations to help break this number.
That is really, guys, twice? That something is up here. Something is really up here. One time in the Bitcoin value, then again in the US dollar value. I think Bitcoin price is either going to go to the moon or going to crash. So let's hope, okay? But we need to make sure that we get the next Bitcoin donation, because otherwise it's more looking like we're going to crash. But something is definitely going to happen.
Definitely, and we are closely watching this Bitcoin address right now. This show has quickly become a telethon. One of the famous things that Mr. Chris Ellis said about me once when he was on TV with Max Kaiser on RT on millions of people watching real TV said, "Oh, Tom is great. If you need to raise money on the internet, Tom will help you." And I was like, "Slow down the bus, Chris. I raised money for you. Like, you're a quality person. You do good projects. It's a project by project basis." But yes, we are raising money on the internet again after our incredible success testing out Tallycoin and raising money for a typewriter. Which, by the way, we are waiting for typewriter apocalypse. There are 3 typewriters descending upon my house. The ribbons arrive downstairs. I should go get them and show them to you. You got to buy new old stock. You got to learn all the lingo because, yeah, nobody's making typewriter ribbons. No factory out there. There's only a certain number of them left. It looks like the donation drive has changed. Tallycoin has updated. We've now raised $107.45 at 0.13. So we are very close to our goal of 0.03.
And that
as
is
you can see,
amazing because
Tallycoin.
Guess what? How many people so far have bought tickets to this conference or to this festival? 1,500 just before the ticket, like even before the day. There are many more people going to buy it today, tomorrow, right? And then actually on Saturday morning at the booth, you know. So we already have almost as much Bitcoin in this wallet that we got people bought the pre-sale tickets. So that's amazing, though. So that basically means anyone who wants to have some Bitcoin, who got their tickets in pre-sale, is going to get some. What? That's amazing. That's like a free Bitcoin faucet, but not on the internet, but actually on a festival. That's amazing. Anyone who wants to have Bitcoin is going to get some. What? That's nice.
And we don't do this that often. It might seem like we're doing a lot of fundraisers lately because we're testing out Tallycoin. And as you can see, we're putting Tallycoin through its paces. We're breaking it just as much as we're fixing it. So we don't really do this. And the $1 million is more of a joke. I don't expect you to give me $1 million, but it'd be cool if you did. But a couple of days ago, I was talking to Max about this, and he was saying, yeah, we don't really have any money to give away. And, it's different, the level of Bitcoin that you're at, if you're new to Bitcoin or old to Bitcoin, if you can afford to give away, $10 or $20 worth. And I was like, oh, no, just ask the audience. Ask the audience for some money to give away, and people will give it to you. And that's what we're doing here. This $107, I mean, yeah, it could buy Max like a nice jacket or maybe half of a pair of shoes, something like that. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to give it away to random people. So if you want your money given away to random people, you can donate it right now. We'll put it in a pile with everybody else's money, and we'll give it away. So yeah, don't give us too much money because it would be too hard for us to give away. So if we do hit that $300, $200 level, we're going to have to cancel it. We're going to hide this QR code. We're going to go backwards in time. We're going to edit these shows out. So if you're listening later on, we'll be like, still we can't do it. It's no good. We're not going to do it. We don't want all the money. But if you want to give us like a couple $100, we'll give that away for you. So what do you think, Max? It looks like we might have got another donation, but I don't want to jinx Tallycoin by refreshing it. It looks like down here it's showing us active live donations. Look how cool this software is. It looks like a lot of that might be getting covered up by our people boxes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have some people box options. There we go. I hid the people boxes. So now you can see more of the screen. I bet you didn't know I could do that.
Wow. Magic, isn't it? Guys, this is amazing. I don't want to dwell on it too much because you guys want to have actual content and not just us like being, hey, yes, money. But actually, this is really going to help much. Another donation. Look at this. Wow, I got my phone now on speaker, so you should hear it. 12 donations so far.
It makes sound. That's cool. Tallycoin makes sound. I love sound. Again, these are the basics of fundraisers. If anybody wants to fundraise, you get yourself a thermometer, you get yourself a thing that makes sound, and you come back every day and you say every day you're like, yeah, we raised $10. Yeah, we raised $20. Oh, we didn't raise any money yesterday. You just tell the people. You're like, things are good. So I think that the chat is requesting that we talk about Brewster's Millions. I'd like to do that. Max, have you seen Brewster's Millions, the movie?
No, I have not, but talk about it. I'm interested.
All right. Well, there's first of all, there's this book from like the 1900s, the 1880 or something, right? And the book is called Brewster's Millions, and it's about America and Britain and rich people, and it's a lot about manners and conventions, right? And basically, this guy, he's just a normal guy making it through his life, and all of a sudden, his great uncle Brewster passes away. But great uncle Brewster, he's a bit of a character. He doesn't really know this nephew, and he doesn't really trust him either. So Brewster sets down a challenge. He says, if you can take this fortune, and the monetary numbers are different, so I'm not going to try to confuse anybody. We're going to use 1970s numbers. But if you take this fortune of like $1 million, and if you can spend, or maybe like 10 million, right? So if you can spend all 10 million in a month and have nothing to show for it, I'll give you a fortune that's worth 100 million. Right? So this guy in the 1900s is just having parties, and he's trying to lose money, and his friends are trying to help him. He can't tell anybody that he's losing this money. So it's very stressful on the guy. He can't tell his girl. His girl thinks he's losing his mind. She's horrified at the way he's wasting this money and flittering it. And they made a movie of it in the 1970s, and they changed it up a bit. They put Richard Pryor in the Brewster role. So it is very different than the old book from the turn of the century. But it's great. And Richard Pryor now has to go out and spend this money. And in the movie, he's a minor league baseball player, and he's kind of, a guy from the streets. He's got, a suitcase and not much else. And his best buddy is John Candy. And John Candy's a catcher, and he's not the brightest guy. He's a catcher. And all this money starts raining on them. And they find out that as you get richer, it's hard to lose money. He invests in this plan to take an iceberg from the north and bring it down to the south for ice. And wouldn't you know it, that plan makes tons of money and the stock goes way up. And he was trying to lose money. And his friends will do nice things, and his friends will do nice things, and they'll like try to, help him make money. And they'll be like, yeah, I got you this great stock investment. And yeah, we won money. And his face will just sink. And he'll be like, I'm trying to lose money. And he just can't lose it. And basically the idea was to make him exhausted of spending money, and to make it so that he doesn't get any joy out of spending money anymore, and that he sees it as a burden, because that's what it really is. Like he starts employing all these people, and then they change from being his friends to being his employees. And it just, everything in his world changes. And at the end of it, if he's successful, he walks away with nothing but the shirt on his back. And then they give him the 100 million, and he won't want to spend it. Or people are conspiring against him because a couple of people know about this plan, and they want to make it so that he accidentally ends up with money. So it's just a pretty fun movie. I mean, it's light and silly. I don't want to say that it's some serious movie or anything, but I just think it's a fun idea that they dropped $1 million on this guy, and they said, what's he going to do? And I think in Bitcoin, I always bring up this idea because there are people out there who have made ridiculous amounts of money who might have a sense of humor and think that this would be funny. So I think it'd be funny too. Certainly I'd have to get a tax attorney or something. But after we did all that, it would just pretty much, buying cameras and buying a studio and having a desk to do the show at, and writing the show before we do it, doing a teleprompter, and having good internet connections. I don't know, whatever we would do with the money. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but that's what it would be like. So
Exactly, and that's the good thing with money. You can do anything with it, right? You do not need to use this donation method that we are using right now to onboard new people onto Bitcoin. No, like you don't have to. It's easy, you can, it would be nice if you did, but you don't have to. You can use it as a Kickstarter for anything and everything, because with Bitcoin, you literally can buy anything and everything. You could do the same thing to hire a hitman if you would like to. I wouldn't do it as public as we are doing, but theoretically you could, right? So that's a good thing with Bitcoin. It's a pure money. Anything you want to do. Of course, it doesn't have to be criminal. It can be just you raising money to crochet a nice woolen scarf. You know, you could do anything with it.
It was also super funny in the movie. Brewster had to go to the bank, to the vault, to pick up the money personally. And there were stacks and stacks of cash. And if I was to do an update of the movie and we were going to do Bitcoin, I would have them go down to the vault and he would get like a special cell phone out of a metal box or something. And Brewster would hold up his QR code and it would go beep, and it would transfer the $1 million to him. And it would be like, all of a sudden, Mr. Brewster's phone is worth $1 million. Mr. Brewster has a serious tax problem on his phone. And then he'd have to start hiring people. And he could pay them right there. He could be like, you want to be my security guard? Hold up your QR code. Beep. You're my security guard now. You want to be my photographer? Beep. Hold up your QR code. That's what we would do in Brewster's Bitcoins.
Exactly, we would, absolutely. But just imagine it being for a good cause, you know, it being for the World Crypto Network, because that's exactly what we would do. Okay, we need stuff to spread the word of Bitcoin. Let's do it. That's literally it. That's what we're going to do with that money. It doesn't have to be onboarding physically at a festival. It can be making better videos. That is amazing. You know, we need to fight this war on every front that we can. And the more funding we have, the better. Not just for us, but for anyone. If you donate to Andreas, donate to Andreas. That's amazing. That guy's traveling all the world, around, all over the place. You know how much money that costs? That is incredibly, it's a huge amount of money. And he could be a Bitcoin billionaire. He could. He literally could. Because if he would have just didn't do that, all open source, all gratis for free, all his YouTube videos, his hour-long YouTube videos, for free, traveling the world for free, going to any meetup that he can for free in the early days. What? Of course, now he can charge people because he has a reputation, right? That's actually what this does to you. You know, open source is amazing. You should do it in every part of life. But the cool thing is that now you can give him some back. And I myself, I've watched any and every video of Andreas ever. By the way, the WCN Andreas videos were the one that I watched last, right? So that's really, really nice. I now get to experience like all the old Andreas stuff, which is so cool. But anyhow, you know, if I can chip in a few Satoshis to him, that's amazing. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Why? Because he has given us so much. He has onboarded probably more people than anyone else. Anyone that I talk to, the one thing I tell them to do is go watch Andreas Antonopoulos. Any video, doesn't matter. Just watch it. Any video of him is good. Like, he doesn't have a single bad video. Go out there and you're going to learn something. To this day, I watch every video of him because it's like the best quality content that you can get. And why not support him?
We do have a Bitcoin fundraising update. We continue to break Tallycoin with the speed and power of our massive donations. Looking at blockchain.info, we just received a donation for 0.003 or 0.000138. Our total donation amount is 0.15, halfway to our 0.3 goal, and more than 16 people have donated $124 for us to give away at this German festival. How about that, Max? Power of the community, instant free money to give away. Pretty sweet deal.
Isn't that is amazing? That is really fantastic. And you know, the cool thing with Bitcoin is that you can really manage the transaction fees, right? So if you look right here, we have coming up right in a second, I hope, this chart of the Bitcoin mempool. You know, just to get a little bit technical about that, it is right here, the mempool, and you can see how many transactions are in the mempool in the last 2 hours, right? That's Bitcoin. That's nothing else. That's Bitcoin, right? And you see that there has been a huge spike the last couple, what was it? Yeah, the last like 10 minutes. That was us. You see that? No, it wasn't. We didn't have that many transactions, but we had a couple. So right now you can say that if you want to get something in at this second, you have to pay probably like 60 or 50 Satoshi per byte. But that's way too much, because look how much you got. We had here down there on the bottom. You could pay 1 Satoshi per byte to get it in the next block. And that is what's going to happen in the next hour or two. You know, at least by tomorrow, I'm going to have all the Bitcoins that you're going to send with 1 Satoshi per byte. So right now, you could get away with sending it for 1 Satoshi per byte, which is not even a penny. So you can do that at a penny, not even a penny for your transaction. That's fantastic. And so it doesn't matter how much you're going to send. You could theoretically send like 50 cents. That would be perfect fine, because I will receive pretty much all of those 50 cents. And even 50 cents are going to onboard like 5 people. That's already amazing. So, you know, time the transactions and look at the mempool to save as much fees as you can. The next transaction just came in.
Yay. And people are looking at the Bitcoin chart. It is $8,211. Let's see. Crypto Daddy says in the chat that it bounced off the neckline of the cup. And I think that right here, this format right here, this is a cup. And then the question is it going to go above the cup or below the cup? We are starting to see a potential rise above the cup. However, this is a skyscraper with a long top on it. Not always the best thing if you want it to keep going up. We'd rather see a full skyscraper, I think, theoretically. If you look at these skyscrapers back here, this one has just a little itty bitty top. This one has a top and a bottom, different shapes here in the chart. So we're looking at the chat right now. People say, are we taking calls? Yeah, we can go ahead and open up the phone calls. I did get my server running. I am a little concerned about my server, honestly. I'm going to have to go take it apart. But yeah, I might have lost a hard drive, which would be really sad. Yeah, 8 terabytes. That's a lot of data to lose suddenly. I don't think that it's backed up. Previously, this system was very stable. So I'm going to have to see if I can unplug it and replug it, and if it comes back. And then I'll have to see maybe if data recovery is an option or if it's gotten cheaper. We'll have to see. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Crypto Daddy.
Hey, Crypto Daddy. How's it going? Be sure to turn your speaker down. We're echoing a little bit.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hey, Crypto Daddy, I want to say thank you because you were one of the people that donated. I'm not going to trust you. You would have to prove that with a Bitcoin signature, right? No, but thank you very much for doing that. That's amazing of you. Thank you very much, my friend.
All right, looks like we're having some audio problems. So if you want to just give us a call back, make sure your microphone's working. Try unplugging and replugging it, maybe restarting your Windows computer. Sorry about that, man, but you can give us a call right back. People are looking at the different shapes in the chart as we try to fill out the top of the skyscraper. The top is getting smaller. I don't know. People are saying, yeah, you might need a headset or headphones. You definitely have to turn down your speaker when you call in. It's very, you know, it's like a radio talk show. We do this on every call. It's the whole thing with the what's spin right? It says I should try spin right in the chat. I don't know what that is. Is that going to teach me the shapes of these things?
Or make it easier for the people to call? I don't know. But something is up with Skype. Like I still make so many mistakes with it.
Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Adam, and I live in London, in the UK.
All right, Adam. What's on your mind today about Bitcoin?
Well, I noticed you were talking about price and trying to do some technical analysis, and that you talk about that quite a lot. So about 6 months ago, I started doing an experiment to find out whether or not it actually does work. I've been running a show called the Bitcoin Tarot Podcast, in which I compare technical analysis to tarot reading to see which one could do a better job.
And what are the results so far? How's it going?
Well, the show I recorded and released last night, they're neck and neck. Both are still on a B-. They're both getting very good results.
We were just talking about something similar to this last night at the Bitcoin meetup. They were saying there's this monkey that throws darts at a dartboard and that he's beating most of the stock analysts. He's picked better stocks than them. And as you can see today with Facebook and Twitter both going down, I think the monkey could do pretty well.
I think a monkey could do as well as the tarot reading, possibly, but I couldn't think of any better placebo forecast. than using the tarot cards.
It does seem like the technical analysis is very good at reading the past. Like in the past, I could tell you that we hit a low of 7,798. But in the time period, I had no idea that was the low. It's only by looking at this chart that I can tell you all kinds of information about the past, but it tells me seemingly nothing about the future.
Yes. So Adam, how do you use the tarot cards to predict the market price?
I do a 4-card tarot reading. We could watch the show together now if you wanted to.
How long is a clip?
It's less than 10 minutes long. 8 minutes, 49 seconds was the last one.
Thomas,
That might be a little long for today, but just in general, how would you choose them? If the tarot reading turned out positive, you would buy, or if it turned out negative, you would sell. What's the basic criteria?
The show 1 week ago, the forecast was basically saying that Bitcoin would rise in dominance because the dominance cards came up indicating that it would do that. And then, of course, the Bitcoin dominance index did shoot up last week. So that's why we got an A+ for the tarot reading this week.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, but I mean, tarot is something that has been around for forever. That's one of those ancient, teachings. It's where actually today's playing cards came from. So this is something that's really, really old. So we don't know what the old masters knew that we maybe don't, right? Or maybe we do, I guess. So how much do you, Adam, believe in, or how much do you use tarot cards in your everyday life?
Almost not at all. It's also as an excuse to learn how to read the tarot as well as to learn how to do some technical analysis. So and handy that I could learn both at once.
That is fantastic. That's really smart, actually.
Yeah, the way I think of the tarot is it has indeed had thousands of years of social evolution, mimetic evolution, to build these sort of templates that you can throw stories onto that reflect human nature in some way.
It's a really interesting idea, and it reminds me a little bit of the movie Network, where one of the correspondents on the TV show after the entertainment people take over the news is Sybil the Soothsayer, and she's a mystic. She has a crystal ball, and she predicts the future right there on the evening news. Certainly would make the news more watchable and entertaining if it had that element of magic to it, right?
Well, it's only been a few years since we've stopped having horoscopes on breakfast television every day as it is as well.
Exactly, exactly. And that has no science to it at all. That's somebody writing a couple of generic sounding paragraphs. A person born in your time period might have a nice day and a spot of coffee this morning. And you're like, oh, that sounds just like me. This is just like me.
Exactly. It's another way of producing these Barnum statements, which feel as though they're true to anyone. So a lot of the tarot forecasts are like that. Either it will go up or it will go down, but then technical analysis does the same thing.
That sounds great. Where can people check out your YouTube show? Where can we watch Crypto Tarot?
Easiest way is from my website at dalliance.net/BCTP.
All right, very cool. Keep up the tarot readings, and maybe you can even call in next time and give us a little abbreviated reading. Tell us what's going to go on in the future, just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, maybe if I'm not working. I'm usually working this time of day.
Well, that'd be great. Thanks so much for giving us a call, and give us a call anytime.
All right, thanks. See you later.
Thanks for calling in, Adam. That was nice.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Crypto Tarot. And as always, you can give us a call now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. Caller from before, if you got your audio problem figured out, you could give us another call. It sounds good. People in the chat are not too into psychics, but I think that was kind of the caller's point. He wasn't really saying he was a master or a believer in the tarot arts. It seemed more like he disbelieved the technical analysis. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, I can hear myself a little bit, but can we hear you? You might want to try it on a phone or something like that.
Phone is usually useful. Just, hit pause on the video.
I suck.
Now we can hear you.
Crypto Daddy. Crypto
All right.
Daddy and I suck.
Don't be so down on yourself. It seems like it's working fine now. Oh, it worked. It worked fine. It worked fine only to transmit us the message that he sucks. Oh man, what a bummer.
Oh no! Oh no! That is
You're gonna
unfortunate.
figure it out, Crypto Daddy. You'll figure it out.
But I'm telling you, Skype is such a horrible user experience. Why does that keep happening? It happens all the time. Like, it's
Well, I
not
think
that you,
a
the user,
lot.
are stupid. The program is stupid. God damn
Not a
it.
very good program, but a lot of these people are kind of brand new to Skype. I think. I just think they haven't played Skype before. We
But
do
even
have a
then, user interface should be intuitive. That's like the basics of user interface. You shouldn't be like familiar with it in order to use it. It should be,
well,
seamlessly.
and certainly none of this is like Crypto Daddy shouldn't feel bad. He's apologizing in the chat and stuff. Don't feel bad, man. You're figuring out this new technology. You'll figure it out. You'll get the coffee going. You'll get this set, man. But we do have an update on our fundraiser. Tallycoin was working, but then I refreshed it and I broke it. Oh, here's Mustafa. Hold on. Hello, Mustafa. You're live on the World Crypto Network. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I was just wondering if my Skype was working today since everyone else is having issues.
See, yours is working fine, but then I think you have the advantage of having used it before. I think once you use Skype 2 or 3 times, it goes pretty smoothly. It's only that first time that I think is so hard.
Right. I would definitely recommend using it on your mobile device as opposed to maybe a laptop or a desktop computer, just because, most people don't have mics connected to their laptops or desktops. And if you try to use like the internal mic of your device, it'll, give you like major feedback and it just destroys everything. So definitely use your phone. Then it's just as easy as making a phone like a internet phone call.
And we do have an update on the Tallycoin fundraiser. We did just receive a donation of 0.029. We can now announce that this fundraiser is now closed. We raised 0.44 Bitcoin above our goal of 0.3 Bitcoin. That's $367.99. A minute ago, Tallycoin was working, but then I broke it. I refreshed it again, but it showed the sunshine over here, which is our success symbol. And you don't see any birds flying anymore because we made the mountain so big. So thanks so much to everyone who donated. We had more than 19 donors who combined to send us 0.44 Bitcoin. Max, you're now going to have to give out this Bitcoin in Germany. There is no rest for you. How many thousands of people do you have to talk to now because we raised this money for you?
Guys, that's horrible. That's how many? That's 4,486 people. What? That is way too much. Please stop.
Yep. We did it again. We raised money. I put $10 in for sure, but everybody else did the rest. And thanks to DJ Booth for making Tallycoin. It worked pretty good. And again, anyone can use Tallycoin. You bring your own Bitcoin address. We're not going to pay any fees. They're not going to take any cut. Just for you guys that don't know, Kickstarter takes a cut. Indiegogo takes a cut. YouTube takes a cut. Twitter, I don't know if you can even get money on there, but they'll take a cut. Everybody takes a cut. So when you donate Bitcoin directly, you're getting over the cut. I like super chats. I think they're super cool. But you know what's cooler than a super chat? A Bitcoin donation. And not just because I'm into Bitcoin, also because of all this stuff I'm telling you about how it goes over these other people. But let's talk to Mustafa. Your network connection's working good. Where are you calling us from today? I think yesterday you were close to Illinois, maybe?
Well, I was actually, last time I called in, I was on my way to Raleigh, North Carolina. That was, I think, a couple days ago. And I'm currently in Roanoke, Virginia.
You know what I think we got to do is we got to get you some Bitcoin stickers and some World Crypto Network stickers, and then either have you hand them out or stick them on. Maybe if they have a sticker wall or a place where stickers are supposed to be. I don't want you to get in trouble, but boy, you could really do some stickering all over the country. I guess maybe just truck stops. But yeah, you could put a flyer
mainly truck stops because I frequent them. But yeah, I'm traveling all over the country. I can be mobile advertising, and I got a big 50-foot or 53-foot trailer behind me that I'm hauling around everywhere. So that's a lot of advertising space there. I haven't really utilized it yet, but I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, it sounds like a cool idea. Yeah.
Any way that you can support the network will be fantastic if you do. You don't have to, right? But if you want to support the system and you do not really know how to, if you want to bring something to the network so that it grows and that we all have a bigger pie, right? That's what you're going to do. That's open source. We're going to support each other so that everyone grows, right? And the cool thing is that it's super easy with Bitcoin.
I'm just doing like word of mouth promotions for you guys, just because you've gave me so much information. So if anybody ever asks me, I'm the Bitcoin guru to my friends and family, right? Because that's how most of you guys are as well. I'm sure is that all your friends and family, they'll call you up every time they have a crypto related question, and I'm that guy. And I'm always directing them to you, Thomas, or WCN, and Andrea's videos and etc. And recently I've started doing taking some time whenever I'm at a truck stop for the night, or if I'm taking a break or something. And we usually have little like I don't know, I guess you want to say like a little hangout area, for the truckers, like with the TV and stuff. It's usually just everybody just sitting watching TV and nobody's talking or anything, And I started doing it a couple days ago, and I did it again yesterday, where I just walk inside with a big smile on my face and say, "Hey guys, who knows anything about Bitcoin?" And they all just look at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. But then one guy was like, "Yeah, I heard about Bitcoin. Yeah, that's like some stock or something, right?" And I'm like, "Well, not exactly." And well, come over here, and I started explaining, and I then let him. I got one person to download a Coinami wallet, and he was a younger guy. He was more technical, so it was easier for him. But everybody else, they weren't very interested. So I'm still fine tuning my sales pitch, if you will, or introduction.
That's amazing, Mustafa. And the cool thing is that you are going to learn so much. You're going to learn so much by explaining Bitcoin. So if you go out there and you teach them, you are self being taught. You teach yourself. So if you teach how to talk, like if you talk to them about Bitcoin, you are going to get so much better talking about Bitcoin. I've been doing this for a long time now, like 1.5 years, and I can tell you, at the beginning I was horrible. I did it way too complicated. I did way too much detail. Nobody wanted to know that for the first time, right? So over the time, you just get better and better and better at doing it. And by now, like I'm telling you, I can convince anyone in 5 minutes to use it. It's amazing. It's so intuitive after a while because it is such a cool technology. So you are on the best way of becoming one of those great Bitcoin speakers.
Well, and
I sure hope
Mustafa,
so. And you are correct. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'll you can talk to you, but no, I think you're in a really exciting place to spread the word about Bitcoin. I hate to tell you the truth about truckers, but self-driving cars are coming. So if I had to say, if there was anybody that we needed to save from automation, it would be truckers first and cashiers second. So anything you could do to spread the word to those people that might save them from this technology that's coming, to take their jobs. So I don't know if you want to mix that into the thing for your pitch, but yeah, if you're going to get wiped out by automated cars, make some money on Bitcoin so you don't have to worry so much. So.
Right, that's a good point. I don't know if I would really want to open with that or anything, because I most the demographic when it comes to truckers is like 50 plus. They're 50-year-olds and over, and it's hard to convince older men. Generally, it's older men about new technology. They're very their ideology is very set in stone, and it's very hard for me to get through to them about something where most of them have flip phones. They don't even have a smartphone. They hardly use the internet unless they're like looking at like naked ladies or something. And it's just they don't really do what we do, or like the new younger generation that uses the internet for almost. I mean, I use the internet for almost everything that I do in my life. My whole life is online. And to what Max was saying about just keep doing it and it gets a lot easier. It's very true. You were talking about that earlier in the video. How sometimes you can give someone too much information, and I think that's the mistake that I've been making is I get into the sound money topics and economics and stuff like that, and then I start to lose people, because they're looking at me like I'm unpatriotic because I'm telling them about the failings of their country's currency, especially older men. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that the dollar's failing or whatever, that that the government is bad, because they're very the type of person I'm always talking to is a very pro government type person, and they're they still have they still believe in the full faith of the U.S. government is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, I think it's best to start out with a demonstration. As counterintuitive as it might seem, but if you can get them to install that wallet, and you can say, "Hey, I'll give you $1," or if you buy me a beer, I'll buy you a beer full of Bitcoin. And I think that you just try it out. And you're like, "Here it is. This is how it works."
That's true. Exactly. That's true. I'm definitely gonna try that. I didn't try doing that at all, except for the one person that the younger guy that was interested. He was very interested about it and very eager to get more information. So I did do that with him, and we had a little transaction thing. But everybody else just kind of looked at me like I was selling them something. Like they were like, no, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy anything. And I was like, I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving you the information. This is just free. And I'll keep working on it. I'll keep you guys updated on what's happening daily. I'm hoping to once I get a little bit better at it to videotape it, and put it on YouTube so you guys can watch it. Maybe
send it to us. That would be amazing. Send it to us at World Crypto Network. That goes for anyone, right? Not just you, Mustafa, but anyone. If you talk to people about Bitcoin, just send us the video. Upload it on YouTube on your channel. Send us the thing. Make it open source so we can share each other's ideas. And then we can edit it together in one big video. And then we're going to make a montage of us all talking to no-coiners, to newbies, and showing them how amazing this currency is. And that's all that we can do. And then we can show this video to everyone else, because all those people are going to ask specific questions, right? And so we can explain it to them in an easy and accessible way. And we're going to, just make it all into a nice little video. Maybe someone can edit that. Would be nice. And that's how we get even more people.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea as well. I'm taking it slow, and I'm just doing it whenever I can. I'm always right here in this driver's seat most of my life, so I don't really have much time to be able to go out and talk to people. I talk to you guys more than anything else, I think. But yeah. So that's really all I wanted to say. Just I've also tried the Tally coin thing, which is pretty cool. Just to I messed with it last night just to see if I can break it, so I can tell you guys I broke it, and so you can fix it and make it better. But I haven't broke it yet.
Definitely, and we do have an update from Tallycoin. I can show you the end scene. This is what it looks like when you succeed on Tallycoin. You can see the big sunshine here. It says that the goal is reached. We can see where we started here and where we finished here at almost 0.45 Bitcoin, which is above our goal. We're above our goal of 0.03 Bitcoin, around $250 for Max to give out at the festival. So very cool. Tallycoin worked. And I still think, Mustafa, you're in a really exciting position. I look too short like that, but a really exciting position. I know how hard it's going to be to talk to these truckers, but it's practically like, I know people called Roger Ver Bitcoin Jesus because he talked to some teenagers one time. But this is the Bitcoin Jesus work right here. I can tell you with no certainty, there's no trucking jobs in 5 years. Like, I mean, you're in a dying profession, and I mean, I hope you have some Bitcoin and you have a backup plan, and I hope that these guys could get some Bitcoin and get a backup plan. But truck driving and cashiers have a 5 to 10 year lifespan on the entire job, the entire industry. It doesn't matter how good you are at it. it's the
Absolutely.
computers are coming. So
I mean, that's just what's going to happen. We're going to get more productive, right? And with more technology, we're going to be more productive. It's not just truckers. I'm a banker. It's a dying profession as well. Do you think Bitcoin is not going to destroy the bank? So it is. It already has, right? So I know that my job, in my opinion, others think different, right? But I think, well, the job is dying. Yeah, it is. It might not be today, might not be in a year, but in 10 years, probably, right? Just like the post office is kind of dying.
Absolutely. I agree with you guys about automation and everything, and I don't honestly think that automation in big heavy vehicles is going to be as fast as automated passenger vehicles. But I do believe that the type of truck driver will change because there is already automated semi trucks, but they're still required to have I can't really say a driver anymore. It's more of a like a technician, someone that has to be there to be able to assess any like program issues or stuff like that. So I still believe there's going to be a need for a person to be inside the semi while it's moving. It's definitely not going to be a guy that just knows how to drive, though. It's going to be you're going to have to be a guy with some technical background on how the autonomous system is working to be able to control it and all that. So I don't think that the job is completely going away, but it's definitely going to evolve into something a lot more technical. As far as banking goes, I think the banking sector is probably going to get wiped out a lot faster than this one. I always talk to my bankers whenever I go to the bank and tell them, hey man, better get your resume ready, because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to take over. And, they always like give me a weird grin, but I'm just giving them the advice because it's the truth.
yeah, we're watching one of the self-driving truck videos right now. They make it look pretty sweet. The guy looks really comfortable in his chair. I don't think he really has to do anything. I agree with you. They're gonna need some kind of I hate to say it, like a babysitter on these cars. But I don't know that they're gonna get paid the same. I don't know the skills needed to do it. I don't know if it's like you're saying, if it's a backup truck driver or if it's just a person that can push the button and make the thing pull over or something. I don't know how much technology is going to change this.
But already at this point, the self-driving cars are so good, they're already starting to be better than human beings. And we know that how exponential all digital growth is, right? This is going to be an immense amount of growth. And really, really soon, the cars are going to just be such more secure and safe drivers because they have perfect reflexes, they have perfect all-around vision. It's just more useful to have such a tool on the road, right? It's just a more useful tool. And that's all a truck is. We don't want to be truck driving. We use it as a tool to get stuff from A to B. And if we can get stuff from A to B faster, that's amazing, because then more people can work on producing A, right? We no longer need people that will be driving the trucks. Yeah, it sucks for those people driving the trucks, but those people can be in the new profession that will be so much more prosperous. For example, Bitcoin. If you get educated in Bitcoin now, you're going to have a lifelong profession, because this is the new money, at least for the next 20, 30 years, hopefully, probably for the next 100. So if you are going to be in this ecosystem, you're going to have hyperbolic growth, just as Bitcoin is hyperbolically growing all the time, right? So this is something that those people that will get displaced by technology because we get more efficient, which is a good thing.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm very excited about the whole Bitcoin thing since the day I was informed about it, and I'm always trying to do something that's cryptocurrency related, because I do know that, nothing lasts forever. And you always have to move on to the next industry, and you can't just be a person that's mad that there's no more coal mining going on, so you don't have a job, because that's just stupid. That's just stupid for you to get mad that technology has made your job obsolete. And instead of getting mad, you should have been proactive and learned something new to be able to still contribute to society the same way you were before.
That's right. And I think that's a good way to approach these people. As much as people don't like it, if you can get somebody who's into learning and think that learning is okay, then you're ready to go, because they can learn about anything. And teaching someone about Bitcoin is no different than teaching them anything else. But what I find a lot of is that people are just turned off. They don't want new ideas. They don't want new learning. People were talking yesterday at the meetup that they think people don't even talk to each other anymore. That just your average everyday interactions that you used to have with people. And I have a couple every now and again. A guy will point at my hat and, you know, we root for the same team. I root for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, you know, and a lot of people in this town do too. So we'll have a little chat about that, mainly about which players have been traded or which ones are going to come back next year. But I think a lot of people have just lost touch with other people, and that connecting with people, even like this conversation right here, just doesn't happen that much anymore. So you got to shock them out of that. You got to get them back into that. I can learn. I'm a human. I can change. And a lot of people are well out of that. So.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. I see it all the time, especially because I'm always inside of a vehicle, and you know, I'm always on the road, and you see all these people, you know, mostly one person in every car, and they're just in their own world, and you know, they're just trying to get to where they're going as fast as they can, not really caring about anybody else around them. And I think what the automobile has showed the world is basic human nature when you're isolated, you know, because it isolates us. Because you know when you're driving in any city or whatever, you know, if you're too slow, people are going to cut you off, or you know, if you're not an aggressive driver, you're going to get pushed back to the back of the line. But if you take away the cars, and for example, everybody standing in line, like just standing there, nobody's going to come cut in front of you unless they're like, you know, unless they're really an asshole or something, you know, then they'll do it. But you know, it's a lot. You lose the person, you know, you lose the whole personality aspect of that thing, you know, of the thing that we're all driving on this road. We're all going north right now. You know, we're all trying to get to wherever we're trying to get to. And if just because everybody's in their own metal box, it kind of gets to where there's like, it raises the level of aggressiveness in a way, which I guess I notice a lot more than most people because I'm always driving. But that's just how life is right now nowadays. You know, like everybody's you know, looking down at their phone. Nobody's really like having that personal interaction where it was just like, oh, hi, how you doing, or anything like that. It's always just a text or a emoji or a thumbs up or something, you know. And it loses the personality aspect of, we're losing the personality aspect of life. I feel in all the like daily interactions these days.
Yeah, this is really true, because, and you know, all this digital stuff is enhancing it, because we can, you know, sit here on the digital world, basically, right? Be online and don't have to have those physical interactions. And I think those are also really important, right? Being around people, that's actually really powerful, you know? Physically being around. Yes, talking to people is nice and that's cool, but also talking to people in the physical realm. I also like to do that.
And it's funny, I want to agree with Max. I think the same exact thing that Mustafa's driving with people in cars happens with people on computers. You get behind your computer and suddenly you're not just part of humanity, you're the all-powerful person behind the computer. And if my computer says F you, or my computer says mean things, or my computer makes fun of you or something like that, it's just my computer, it's not me. And people can differentiate, and then they can start acting like maniacs. And I definitely see that on the roads. The thing that drives me crazy on the roads, Mustafa, is that people don't merge. We have this thing in networks where all the packets, like you say, if we think of packets as cars on a network, all the packets are going to the same place, and they're all going to get there fine, and they get there even better if they're properly spaced out. There's less collisions between the packets. But for some reason, we can't figure this out when it comes to cars. We'll go on the freeway and they won't slow down to let you in, and we can zipper, right, where you alternate one car to another car and everyone gets to get in and we all go to where we're going. Or people can act greedy and they can slow up the whole line, and over again these people act greedy, and you know the numbers, you know they're going to get there 3 minutes faster than you, or they're going to get there 5 minutes faster than some guy. It's nothing at all, and it screws up the whole road.
The truth is that they will eventually slow everybody down, including themselves, and then nobody's going to get there faster. I see that happening on a daily basis, actually, whenever there's a construction zone or something. You know, and so I completely agree with that. Is that if everybody would just be a little bit more patient and be a little bit more personal or personable, to where they understand that exactly what you're saying is that there is something called the zipper effect, where you need to just back off a little bit. You know, instead of driving 62 miles an hour, drive 61.5 miles an hour, and all that would do is let that car next to you get in front of you and pass, and you wouldn't have to brake at all. But instead of doing that, you speed up a little bit and close the gap between the car that's in front of you, just to not let the car to the left of you get in, or the one on the right of you get in. And then a couple more people do that, and then everybody has to slow down, and we come to a complete stop. And then we're all in a traffic jam, and it just piles up. You know, so it's definitely a psychological thing, because if you roll your window down and put your hand out and make eye contact with the person and say, "Excuse me, can you let me in?" 9 times out of 10, they'll say, "Go ahead." But if you don't do that and you just cut them off, they will get very mad, and they might try to cut you off. And it's an escalating thing, where because people decided not to be personal about it and not to communicate face to face type of communication, then it goes very quickly into a negative way. And you're right, this happens online just as much as it happens in traffic. It's just all about that isolation. A person is isolated from the people around them, the more aggressive he gets.
Totally agree with that, Mustafa. We're right on the same page there. And they're agreeing with us in the chat too. They're saying that let's see, they say, yeah, that people are insensitive, and that most of society is self-absorbed, and that if people would be more patient and have a lower time preference, and that maybe Bitcoin could fix this. And it's definitely it's a counterintuitive idea that you have to slow down to go faster. People can't get that. They also don't get delayed gratification. That by buying Bitcoin 5 years ago, and by not getting a burger then, and not getting a new TV then, and not getting a new laptop, and all the other things that we sacrificed to hold on to our Bitcoin, now we have more money and we can afford to get a hamburger or a laptop because of delayed gratification. It takes a lot to understand.
Exactly, and this is really, really important, because this is what Bitcoin really teaches you. Don't go out there and buy useless stuff. Actually be cautious about what you buy, and only get the stuff that is really, really worth it. Because that way you are going to grow in wealth, and not just you, but the entire society, right? What do we have on the contrary? We have the fiat money that is inflated nonstop and that loses in value all the time. That means you're going to spend as much as you can on as much shit as you can. You're not going to buy high quality products. You're going to buy really, really, really cheap stuff, because it doesn't matter to you. You just want to get rid of your money. So the cultural effects of fiat money are really, really bad. By the way, Jörg Guido Holzmann, amazing lecture on the cultural effect of fiat money. But then on the other hand, you have Bitcoin, which is sound money, which increases in wealth, which brings you more prosperity when you are prudent, when you save for the future, when you think ahead and don't live by YOLO, but live by HODL. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Max. And I must confess that Bitcoin has taught me how to save. I was and still am the world's worst saver. I could never save any money. I always told everybody that told me, you should save your money. You should save your money. My answer to that was like, no, I just need to figure out how to make more money. Because if I make more money, then I'll have some extra, some surplus. So I'm always spending, and exactly how you were saying it. That my ideology or my way of thinking was like, what's the point of saving if everything keeps getting more expensive? So I'm losing the value of my money, And I spent a couple years in Africa, in Egypt specifically, and I saw how their money, the value of their money, just kept dropping. Every year I would go visit there, my dollar would be worth more of their money, and people out there would always be like, oh, you should save, or some friends or whatever, you should save some money. And I'm like, well, what's the point of saving? If you saved this money last year, this year it's worth like 70%, you know, and the next year it's worth less and less and less and less. You might as well just spend it, enjoy it now, you know, because I didn't know any better. But now with Bitcoin, and you know, the fact that it's the opposite of an inflationary currency and it's deflationary, there's an incentive to save. There's an incentive to hold on to them because they're going to increase in value, you know. And I've never had that, and I've always argued with people that told me to save because I didn't see the incentive in saving. I do now, though, only with Bitcoin, and you know, so that's yeah.
The other thing that's really hard to learn that people tell you is that when you're young, you need to take riskier investments. I've always been risk averse, so I always had a hard time putting my money in anything. And it turns out that basically when you're young, you can afford to get wrecked. And no one wants to get wrecked. So you're like, no, I don't take any risks. But yeah, you got to take the risks when you're young so it pays off when you're older. So just, you know, here or there.
True. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you much for the cool conversations and tips on how I'm gonna go along with my promotion. And yeah, I don't know. Thanks.
Well, let us know how it goes. We'll try to get you some flyers or some stickers. We need to get you like a Bitcoin promoters kit, maybe like a sign for your window. I don't know. There's lots of good ideas out there, but thank you, Mustafa. You're doing the good work.
That's absolutely what we need to do. Thank you, Mustafa, for calling.
All right. Talk to you later.
Talk to you again soon, Mustafa.
And yeah, Thomas, I agree. That was a great call, by the way. Thank you, Mustafa. And the idea of giving out a promotion kit is really, really cool. I think we really should do that. And yes, we could, you know, as the World Crypto Network, start printing that stuff on our own and giving it out to people. And we might do that, you know, and just sending it to people who want to have some. But we might just give away the PDFs.
Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Crypto Daddy. How you doing?
Hey, it seems like it's working now. We can hear you good.
Three time is the charm. Nice to have you here. Thank you for the Bitcoin donation. Thank you very much.
Hey, Max. How you doing? Good. Listen, I was thinking about. Yeah, I have to say, I'm a senior. Okay, and I see you talking, but I can't hear you. What's going on here? Oh, I suck again.
No, it's just ignore basically there's a delay on the YouTube. So the YouTube is like a couple of minutes ago, and you're talking to us live now. So you have to kind of ignore the YouTube for a little bit and catch up later. But yes, so you're a senior in Bitcoin. Do you ever try to tell your friends about Bitcoin? What do they say?
I was thinking about how to tell them, and you know, I've been a programmer since the '80s, so it's not.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I've always been a geek. I've always hung out with geeks. You guys are like my friends because I have none here. I mean, I can't talk to these people the way I talk to you. You guys are younger people.
I was telling my brother that yesterday, how like I still see all the geeks as my people, and I used to work in the computer labs at college, so I know all the different kinds of geeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Unix geek. He likes to be left alone. And oh yeah, that's another type. He likes to talk a lot. But yeah, I really do feel like the geeks.
I'm sorry, but when I'm at like a party and there's young people, I hang out with them because the old farts don't get it. They just don't get it. You know, they don't get it. I want to slap them, but that's another story. What I want to say is this: I was trying to explain Bitcoin to some of these people, and they don't get it. And then I have to use the checkbook, you know, analogy. You got a checkbook? You know, that little thing that you write, how many, you know, what check number and so forth, and how much you spend. That's called a ledger. That's where Bitcoin lives. Hello.
It's pretty unique that you're using the checkbook analogy. Sadly, most young people today wouldn't even know what the checkbook is, so it'll be a hard starting point. Yeah.
I haven't even used one check. Although I work at a bank, I've never seen a physical check, and I've never written on it. Never, ever.
I still use them.
And you're the one, man. You're the one.
You know, because and I have a flip phone, but I also have an Android. I fool with that a lot. I have, you know, I got Unix. I mean Linux. You know, I'm like I'd tell you, I was born at the wrong time. You know, I need to be born right about maybe 10, 20 years ago. So, but
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes too. If I'd been just a couple years earlier, a couple years later, I would have been in a sweeter position. The .coms would have been going up, or the things after the .coms would have been going up. But I was right in the middle there, where when I was getting out, the .coms were going down, and then by the time I was, into a normal job, they were going back up, and it was too late. It just wasn't the right time.
I got in the 90s in the .com, and man, I did well. I did. I'm still kind of like kind of surfing that wave, kind of. But yeah, it's been awesome.
That's amazing. And then the next step is Bitcoin. And then you can catch that stuff early because it's still super early, right? And we all know that it's fantastic.
This is the .coms all over again. I mean, eat it up, guys. I mean, man, you guys, you got the age. If I go in front of a company and I could code, I could do all the stuff that needs to be done, but they one look at me and they're like, "Get out of here, grandpa," But you guys, you got the look. That's the main thing. Believe it or not.
It's never too late. You still have the internet. You could try to contribute to projects just, behind a mask. Say that you're the Dread Pirate Roberts. That worked pretty good.
I mean, other than that, I mean, and I'm very impressed and beyond impressed with how much you guys, not only you guys, but other people. I've seen a 9-year-old kid talk about fiat currencies. I'm so elated about that because I was screaming off the top of my my roof about fiat currencies about 20 years ago and how much they stink. I'm not gonna say suck again. Anyway, I just did. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's going on. Guys, I really want to thank you for being here every day because I'm basically trading Bitcoin and working a little bit and listening to you guys, which is awesome.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much for listening to us blabbering on, which is really not something that anyone would do. So thank you very much, and thank you for supporting us. Right? Not just the donation, although that is fantastic, but actually thank you so much for being active in the community. Because I've seen you in several live chats, like in the chat. We've talked there 1 or 2 times. That's nice. That's just amazing. So thank you for being active, and of course thank you very much for the donation. It's really going to help out.
And I want to say hello to all my friends, Booger's guy, and there's Crypto Squatch and some Carlos or some. All these guys, they're like my friends. I know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that is fantastic. Thank you very much for calling in.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time in the chat. That's fantastic. So guys, but what I do want to say, I can share screen somewhat. Oh, next call. I hope Thomas is going to answer it. See you next time in the chat. That's fantastic. We can still hear the echo. If you could please mute the YouTube video, that would be amazing. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? My name's Jake. I'm calling from Phoenix.
Oh, that's nice, Jake. Hey, what's up? What's on your mind on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this whole epidemic with technology and sorry, just this whole epidemic with technology that has been so like rapid in the first 20 years, the last 20 years. I feel like something like Bitcoin is kind of inevitable. I work at like a cell phone store, so I have to deal with technology all day. But when I want to explain something like Bitcoin to like my coworkers or like people on the street, they don't really get it. It doesn't click. Like they're like, how is this thing even possible? Like they don't understand. I think a lot of with this thing is why the real adoption hasn't happened is because lack of education. Like we don't like the caller before was saying we don't really like you try to ask someone what money is, they'll look at you and say like, oh, it's made so you can buy that thing over there. They don't really understand where like value comes from. And I feel like a lot of us in the States are very and Andreas Antonopoulos said it. He said that we're like we're financially spoiled here. Like we have the certain principles, certain things that we have, like banks and like credit cards and stuff. That's very that's like a, what do they say, when you like drive cars, it's privileged. It's like a privilege. We have a very privileged financial system, and like if you're trying to put something like Bitcoin in Africa, I feel like it's useful to them, but they also need to, like, they don't need just Bitcoin, they need like money too. So they need a, like Bitcoin will be a
I
better way
think we lost you. I'm not certain.
economy
There you are.
help them, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with like education, basically.
I definitely agree with that. And I think part of this, I want to refer back to Gabriel D. Vine's recent idea about the 4 different pillars of Bitcoin. And what Gabriel said is, to understand Bitcoin, you had to understand not only economics, but also cryptography and open source software and something else that I'm forgetting. But you had to have a little bit of knowledge in each one of these areas. And
Game
most people,
theory.
maybe have a lot of cryptography knowledge, but no open source knowledge, or you're big on economics, but you don't have these other things. Game theory is the one that we're missing, game theory. And that's even a harder one. Not a lot of even people know what that is. They're like, what do you mean game? And you're like, well, you ever think about how you play Monopoly? You ever think about why you play Monopoly a certain way? Things like this. And it's much more complex than that. But yeah, so they need all those 4 pillars. They're totally not ready for that. But I agree with you that all the things we've done in the past, the internet, the MP3, streaming video, Netflix, all these things, they led us to this point. And people are always saying we're waiting for that internet revolution. And you guys used to talk big, hacker manifesto and cypherpunks and all your crazy ideas. Well, you got beat by the .comers, and they took the internet from you, and it's the corporate internet now. And even last year they took net neutrality. They're stealing the last undercuttings of your cypherpunk revolution. And we're just sitting out there kind of saying, just wait. Like the cypherpunks are coding. Like
Oh
the
yes.
ideas are out there.
Right.
And then
Oh
this
yes.
Bitcoin thing, this is our thing. This is, we flipped the music industry, and we flipped the movie industry, and we're about to flip the finance industry. It's our biggest flip yet. It's our biggest change to everything. And it's happening right before our eyes. So I think it's really exciting. But yeah, it's hard to talk to people. They're on a totally different level.
Yeah, for reals. When they asked me, like I'm like, oh, look at this, Bitcoin just like went up yesterday, or went down, and then it went up today this morning. But like they're like, what's Bitcoin? And then I'm like, like I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, where do I even start with this? Like, there's like so many, like, yeah, like you said, like there's like 5 different layers. It'll take like 3 hours to even like touch the surface. Like, for reals, it's funny the way. But I'm sure over time, this type of information, it'll be more condensed, more compressed, to be able to understand, because it'll just be right in front of you, kind of like the internet.
Well, and it is up to us. Like we were talking to Mustafa earlier, the truck driver. He's talking to fellow truck drivers. We talked to Crypto Daddy, the senior. He's talking to fellow seniors. You're talking to your friends that work at the cell phone shop. We all need to do our part and talk to our friends and find a way to reach through and to convince them about Bitcoin. I still think a demonstration is a good way. So if you have a couple extra bucks, give every one of your friends in the store $1. Get them interested. Ask them the next day. Say, "Hey, how's that dollar doing? Is it worth $1.10 or $1.20?" If it's going well. If it's going bad, you probably don't want to ask about it. If it's worth 89 cents or something, but give them a chance. Get them some skin in this game, and then if they show even the slightest bit of interest, if they're not interested, let them go. You can't waste your time on a bad lead. But if they're even the slightest bit of interest, be like, yeah, I'll sell you $20 worth. You don't have to set up your Coinbase account or do anything. I'll just, you give me a 20, I'll zing a $20 to your phone, and you got a little bit of Bitcoin, and, take them through it. And I would say anything under $100, they don't really need a Coinbase account. They're fine just trying it out. If they want to get in with lots of money, of course, tell them how to directly link it, tell them how to go to local Bitcoins or whatever they want to do. But I really think this path of giving them $1, maybe selling them 20, or trading them $5 for a beer or soda or something like that, getting them to try it out is what I
Yes,
suggest.
and the important thing is then that when you get them onboarded, that you do it in a good way. Don't use something like Coinbase, which we all know is a bad actor, and they don't give you your keys. They just integrated SegWit after like half a year. Huge trouble with Bitcoin Cash and all that. Use something that is good. Use something that is cypherpunk, right? So go send them to Bisq, send them to HODL HODL. HODLHODL.com is a super easy to use decentralized network, which is like the cypherpunk utopia, right? This is something where the people can send without registration, without know your customer, right? And they don't go to a company. They don't do that. They don't go to a centralized exchange. They don't go to a bank. They go peer to peer. So if Thomas and I want to trade, then we make a Bitcoin multi-signature address so that nobody can steal from us, fancy Bitcoin cryptography, right? And then I send him my fiat money, and well, I can get the Bitcoin out of there, right? It's super simple, and it's just us two.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah, adoption and really using the thing is really what's going to drive this whole economy. But it's just interesting watching, history unfold itself. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be real interesting the next 5 years. But hey, guys, I just want to say, thanks for everything. I've been watching the show since 2017. Like I got in at June 2017. So and I like down the rabbit hole I go. So I haven't left. But yeah, thanks for everything. I just want to say I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, spreading the news. So thanks.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. And the cool thing is, because you got in at 7,000, you had like the whole Bitcoin cycle already, right? This is like hyper education. We're from what, like 6,000, 7,000. We shoot up in Zimbabwe to 78,000. In Venezuela to almost 30,000. Right? Of course, America was only quote unquote 20,000, and then we crashed back down to like 6,000, and now we're doing quite right? So you've experienced everything. You haven't lost that much money, and you're still here. That's amazing because you understand the technology, and you're not just in it for the money.
Yeah, definitely not. I see where this whole economy is going. Yeah, I got in at 3,000, went up to 20K. Now it's down to 8. So it's crazy, man, crazy. But yeah, man, that's.
Well, thanks so much for the call, and give us a call anytime.
Thank you, bro. I probably will. Thank you. Have a good day.
Right. And you can give us a call now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. We're getting a lot of calls. We'll try to keep the show going.
Yes.
Getting a little tired though, but
Thomas, you brought up the cypherpunk movement. I would just want to read the Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace. Governments of the industrial world, you weary giants of flesh and steel, I come from cyberspace, the new home of mine. Just the first sentence. Let's take the call.
Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Crypto Sasquatch.
Hey, Crypto Sasquatch. Nice to finally hear your
Everybody
voice.
from the chat's calling in today. It's a whole chat party here today.
It's been a lot of fun hearing from everybody. Hey, I wanted to comment, you guys. Thomas, you handing out the flyers, and Max with the Bitcoin giveaway. Man, you guys, you're putting the peer-to-peer and peer-to-peer electronic cash. I just want to say, good on you.
Well, these are the hard things to do, and we're doing them not because they're easy, but because they're hard. It's hard to hand out flyers to random people who aren't interested in Bitcoin, who don't care about your funny hat and goggles at all, and you can't break through to them. A lot of them just simply think that you're there paid to hand out flyers. Next time we might have more. Maybe I should put volunteer on the shirts or something. I don't know. We're working through it, but I think it's a good idea, and I think that people at home can do it. They can print out their own flyers. Like that guy said, he was going to Shambhala. He's going to make a variation of the flyer. I think that's great. Just people got to film it and send it to us so we can amplify it out on Twitter and here on our channel.
Exactly. Bitcoin has no marketing department, so it really is a peer-to-peer system for spreading, the info.
And people were talking in the chat about maybe elevator pitches. So maybe not today, we're kind of ending the near end of the show, but maybe on tomorrow or the next day's show, we should do a whole special on elevator pitches and have the audience call in and tell us, how do you tell people about Bitcoin? What do you do? And we just put them on the spot, let them give us the pitch, and then, we'll give them our opinion, and the chat can give their opinion, and people can call in. give their opinion or their version. Maybe even somebody could write it down as a secretary and try to get us to a really good Bitcoin elevator pitch that we could all use. And as Bitcoin's marketing department, we can work together on that right here live on the air.
Man, that sounds incredible. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Man, good on you both. I just love listening to the WCN every day, Bitcoin talk show. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Love it.
Well, thanks so much for the call, and give us a call anytime. Any topic you want us to talk about today, or just more Brewster's Millions, right?
Yeah, the Brewster's Millions for sure, man. Maybe
I really need to watch that.
Ever get a chance to sit down with it?
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a funny movie. It's a good movie. Richard Pryor.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you next time.
All right. Bye-bye. And you can call us now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. We'll try to keep the show going as long as we have calls, maybe do about 20 more minutes of calls here. We're keeping track of what's going on in the chat. We're also keeping an eye on Bitcoin. What's going on? Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. Hey, Max. It's Jose calling again from Mexico.
Hey, Jose from
what's
Mexico. How's it
We
going?
really have we have everyone on today. That is fantastic. Jose, what's up?
Hey, guys. I'm so happy. I feel like it's such a privilege to call in. And I, especially because I call in like all the time, I feel bad. And I wonder if we can make sure, because I want to make sure everybody has space to call in. I don't want to hog the phone lines.
Oh,
no,
it's
absolutely. We love to have you on. It's always a pleasure talking to you. So what's up? What's on your mind?
Wow, I wrote down like 1,000 things. But why don't I don't know where to start. But did you guys see the new article I wrote? Just shout out about that. The 4 levels of hodling.
Tell us about it. What did you do there?
Well, it's actually one of my biggest projects. It took a lot of time, and I think it's really good. But so I'll give you the overview. You can see the picture too. And it's about your security and your cold storage. So it's real practical. So the poorest level would be the custody. I don't know if you can find that picture, Thomas, but the graphic I made is pretty cool. But so the poorest kind, level 4, is a custody. If you got it on Zappo or something, leaving it on an exchange or something. And I think newbies and really rich people would fall into that category. The next one, 3, I paint this picture of like the prepper with guns and safes and passphrases and all this stuff. That's the image for this. And the defining quality of level 3 is that it's the single point of failure. So you're vulnerable to a physical attack. The next level is level 2, a system like a multi-sig, it's multi-sig, multi-location. So a company like Casa, what they're doing would be a good example of this. And then the number 1 best category is what I call advanced private key management, which the only example of it I know is my counter wrench attack protocol. And so in this article, I comment on the Glacier protocol. They have a section where they critique multisig. And so I comment on that and add my other critiques of that and talk about how advanced private key management, specifically QAP, and hopefully hopefully soon, my new app, which I've just renamed as Key Monkey.
That is a fantastic
I'm
name.
excited to work on that just to make everybody safer, because now we have, real easy to keep everybody safe and have awesome private key management. And now it sucks. I think the title of the article is 2008 Review of Joe Hodler's Cold Storage. Yeah, and my big assessment is that because of the bad use of passphrases and because so many people are just single points of failure, my big overview is that right now, Joe Hodler's, our community, it sucks. We got to get better at it.
Well, first of all, I could say thank you for doing that article. That is amazing. Could you please send a link of that in the chat so that the people can find it? And then further, how advanced is it? So are you like the Glacier protocol, for example, is really, really technical, right? This is more for like the IT guys and not really for the average Joe. which is good, of course, right? We want to have that high quality information as well. But just so that we know in what category that fits in, is this more of a let's say user-friendly beginner guide, but still, you know, really competent? Or is this something that really goes into, you know, the nuts and bolts of it?
Great question, Max. And no, this is or yes, this is exactly made for the normal Joe hodler. That's the big key point of it too, is that like anybody can set this up. It's simple manipulation of the 24 mnemonic C words. Yes, it only works with 24. And so it's really a layman's guide. It's real practical and it works. But my new app, I want to automate it and make it like awesome so that it'll really scale for the masses and maybe get monetized with the Lightning Network. And so I think really we're defining and accentuating this new quality of money that I think Adam Meister or someone recently has coined the term unconfiscatable. And I think that's actually evolving. So I mentioned in my article too, you can just read it. I don't want to ramble forever.
Well, I'd also say one of the neat things about your idea, Jose, is that you don't have to put all of your money into your system. Because right now I'd been thinking of it as, you know, oh, I should put all of my money into this, you know, 24 character or 24 word passphrase shared with all my friends, buried under a rock in the garden, or, you know, whatever it's going to be. But if you think about it another way, you could put some of your money in there. And you could put some of your money in a Trezor and put some of your money in a safe deposit box and put some of your money under the house. I think people just need to be a lot more creative with this idea of creating multiple accounts. Something about banking has made us think that we just need a checking and a savings. But if you really think about it, what do rich people do? Well, they have an investment account and they have a long-term investment account and they have a real estate account and they have a checking account and they have another checking account at another bank. And maybe we need to be like that with our Bitcoins. So maybe people should put $100 into your, you know, fail-safe, wrench-proof method, and then they could just try it out. What do you think about that?
Oh, I would definitely recommend starting with small amounts and using it and practicing the access protocol and making sure everything works. And for some people, this protocol won't work. But if you fit into that box for cold storage, and the cool thing about it is that it's cold storage, but you can like instantly access your keys. So it's not like you have to fly across the world, because, you know, that doesn't scale. How's that going to be the future where you can't use your keys? You have to fly across the world. You know, it's just crazy. You know?
Well, and there are other potential issues. Yesterday, I was kind of forced or browbeaten into updating my Trezor. There seemed no other way out, and they warned me that I needed to have the recovery key with me. And if I followed my own advice, I'd have the recovery key in a safe deposit box, and I'd have to wait till the bank was open, and I'd have to have my key with me, and I'd have to be in California. And, you know, there's a lot of problems with me getting a hold of that recovery key right now. So fortunately, the Trezor update worked fine. But yeah, it is pretty complicated out there, managing your keys and managing your hardware wallets and all of this stuff. So.
Yes, and there is always, you know, different levels, and it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off between convenience and you know, security. If something is really, 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 really easy to use, well, guess what? It's not just you that is going to use it. On the other hand, like the hackers can easily use it as well, right? So the more difficult you want to make it for the hackers, pretty much all the time, you also have to make it more difficult for you, right? And so it's an inherent trade-off. But the good thing is we have good user interface, right? And user interface can really make that a pleasurable thing and not make it suck, right? So Jose, how do you want to make the user interface?
Well, I actually have an article on Medium where I talk about my new app, Key Monkey. It used to be Monkey Wrench, but that was when I was focused on just solving the wrench attack problem, which I'd say is solved. You know, as far as a game theory, like Byzantine general theory, Satoshi solved it. Okay, I know it's going to sound, but maybe this will get a headline. I've solved the wrench attack problem. But anyways, so you can read an article about Monkey Wrench and see what the user interface would look like. It's going to do two main things. Store your friends' keys. This is gonna, again, my thing's based on a peer-to-peer network, not a 3 to 5 multi-sig where you're trusting large institutions and flying across meat space. And But yeah, so the big difference is, and it's the defining quality between level 2, like Casa, and level 1, Quap and Key Monkey, is meat space. So those guys have to travel physically through meat space, and you can just see this doesn't scale. It's not the future. So mine is all online. It's all, just with encrypted communication. You share only half of your seeds. That's why you need to use 24 and not 12. Anyways, but yeah, it's really cool. And please, people, check on Medium. I'm Peace and Love. And on Twitter, I'm Oceans for All. And I've got a lot of good articles that'll really practically, for Joe Hodler, increase your security. But I bet the 180 people, 200 people that usually listen to the show, they probably, maybe they've looked at it or they know my spiel. So I don't want to ramble on too much.
Well, thanks so much, Jose, for your call, and just keep working on it. I think you're going in the right direction. And I'd also say the new idea that you could just put some of your money into this system is a good idea. Let people trust it with a small amount first. Try it out with $100 or something. That's a good idea. So.
Yeah, my thing's totally an early beta, and but 6 months, and it's just so just like my article on passphrases. To me, it seems like self-evident once you read it, but I guess it's not, because anyways, I could mention about 100 other things, but like learning Python for people whose jobs are getting outdated, and some other. I think that's a great idea. There's so many things, but I don't want to keep rambling.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jose, for your call. Give us a call anytime.
Oh yeah, and please send the links. Send the links in the description, okay? We really want to check it out.
All right. Very cool. And you can call us now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word. We'll try to keep going, maybe another 10 minutes. I don't know. Max, you got some time for 10 more minutes, maybe?
Yeah, let's try to do one more caller, but I really got to go. Got to onboard more Bitcoin people. Right?
There it is. I know. Now that they've funded you, you got to think about how you're going to give out all this money. It's going to be much more difficult. You might have to go to a second event or come back for a second day. So
well, I'm going to a birthday party tonight. So some people there, I know all of them. They know I love Bitcoin. So I've been annoying them with that for quite some time now. But yeah, I might just tell them, hey, look at this. I got how much are they now? Let's see. I got 0.044 Bitcoin.
Well, if they don't have $1 yet, you can always give them $1. That's what I think. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. It's me, Boss Lady, calling from Florida. How's everybody doing?
It's going good. How's it going down in Florida, Boss Lady?
It's going great. I only caught the back end of this call because YouTube is terrible about notifying us these days, but it's really exciting. It's really good content, really good chat. Everybody is really engaging and just talking about stuff other than the price per minute. I'm really happy to see this and super excited.
What I like about this show is
Central Florida. We're actually gonna take your idea, Thomas, of doing these flyers, and we're gonna do like a Bitcoin pub meetup, and we're going to pass out the flyers at downtown Disney over the weekend. We're taking all of our kids, taking the little dojas out to see the streets and have them passing out flyers and talking to kids. And we're gonna go in front of the movie theater and the restaurant, and downtown Disney is it reminded me of Vegas in terms of the type of people. It's a tourist crowd plus all different ages and so forth from people around the world. So I think we'll do really good. We're going to videotape it, so we'll have some videos to send you.
That's amazing. And the cool thing is that you can send some Bitcoin to little kids, and that's really nice because Bitcoin is intuitive, right? Bitcoin is actually not that difficult. So if you send it, or at least show it to a couple of those kids and tell them, hey, do you want to have some? 100% of the case, they will say yes. 100%, because they just like that kind of stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's been my experience in the past few years. We've been doing these meetups all over, and we have definitely onboarded a ton of people. It's gotten us to where we are today, which is exciting. But in our test groups of kids, using our, testing our own kids and, conferring with other parents and other people in the space, they get it twice as fast and with less than half the time that it takes to explain. Like I know somebody in the chat was saying like it would take like 3 hours just to even begin to cover the concept of what Bitcoin really is. But it's like a television, like my kids, they know how to watch, they can watch anything they want on cable. They know how to turn it on, turn it off. They know how to switch the different channels and the volume. That's, basically what you need to know. You don't have to know all the technical stuff or how the satellite gets in the box. It's totally irrelevant in order to use it. So I think it's very similar to Bitcoin. And instead of having to give a long explanation, we just put it on their phones. And they get it because they're using digital money in their games. Minecraft, Roblox, all of these games, they have currency, digital currency in the game. And you can actually pay, you put your dollar, you pay money for these tokens in the game. It's really, it's crazy. But there's the $5 pack, a $10 pack, and $50 pack. And my kids are always, they want a pack. They want this digital money. They totally get it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that if you buy them those digital packs in the games, they're just gonna get game stuff. If you get them Bitcoin, they have Bitcoin.
Exactly. They really do. They're using it, and it's a whole, world that they're building, and different level ups and different tools, cool little shit that they get, and they get super excited, and they totally understand what it is. Even with Pokemon cards is another example. They trade their Pokemon cards, and different ones have different values. Fire breathing dragons, are worth more than the little micey ones, and they totally get it. It's like they have their own shit coins, and they have, the top 10. It's totally parallel. So it's very cool.
People are really picking up on this idea in the chat. Rad Vladdy says that it's a good point and that we should stop trying to convince our friends and family and just give a little bit to all the kids, get them hooked for life. How fun would it be to give your nephew or something $10 and pretty soon they've got $50 on their phone and they're lording it over their parents who didn't invest or who didn't get the chat, right?
And that's a perfect Christmas present, right? Well, why would you want to give them like 20 bucks in fiat? That's so boring. Like their grandma gives them that, probably written in a check.
Yeah.
No. Give them Bitcoin. That's the cool stuff. That's what the cool aunts and uncles are giving their kids.
Yep, 100%. And to kind of take that a step further in order to support the people that are looking to do that, and because once you do it, okay, that's great. But to really support those efforts, we're meeting up probably twice a week in different parts of the country at these co-working spaces, these crypto co-working spaces, and we'll be meeting with the kids, and we'll be hosting these virtual meetups. I think I've talked about this before, where we'll be able to connect them all around the world at a certain place and time. They'll be in their part of the world. We'll have people in California and Florida and Texas and New York, and we'll all be attending this virtual meetup where the kids are going to be able to share something. It's going to be like a each one teach one type of a thing. So it'll be on their level, and they'll be guiding the way that we do this. It's a 90-day experiment. So if anybody is listening and they have kids, nephews, nieces, and anybody, pretty much we're saying like 21 and under, anyone that's kind of grown up with technology, they would fall into this category of Generation Z. And so we're going to do this experiment for 90 days, starting on the 4th or 5th of August, and just kind of running with it. And we'll, see if we can really make a difference and move the dial. We'll see how much of a difference it makes between these kids. And I think it's going to be explosive. I'm hoping it is. So reach out if you want to connect, and if you meet anybody out there, the young people who are going to college or high school, man, they are just killing shit. Like the guys at the Mises Institute. I mean, it's very synergistic, and I love it, guys.
It does sound like everyone in the chat is from Florida. So you might have to have some kind of Bitcoin meetup in Florida with the chat. People are saying, oh, I'm in this area and I'm in that area. It's a whole Florida love fest in the chat now. So
shout out to my Florida people. We're going to have a co-working space in downtown Orlando. And then we also have one in Tampa, spaces in Tampa, Gandy Avenue. So we'll have those two spaces for now. And if anybody, I know we do have some friends in Miami that have a space as well. So we'll definitely be organizing those meetups in the next 2 weeks. So we will keep you guys posted on the exact date and put the details out. And yeah, if you're in the area, if you want to come out, let us know.
That's fantastic.
Your area, that's the kind of the coolest thing about it. Hopefully, maybe you'll join us, Thomas, for part of it, because we're going to be honoring you in our art installation as one of the OG pioneers in the crypto space. And so if you would be, honor us with your presence, be our, tune in. That would be so cool. And that'll be coming in the next 2 weeks. So I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, that'll be cool. We'll have to see if we can do that. And I think everyone has a space that's like downtown Disney that's near their house where they can find a couple of tourists and they could give out some flyers. And you don't have to live in a fancy place like Las Vegas or Orlando. I think that anybody can do this with the flyers. Although I got to ask about downtown Disney. I think I went there years ago and they had an incredible video game arcade. So you got to see if they still
Yeah.
have that video game arcade. At the time, it was it was really like a catalog. Like, I remember seeing the first version of Asteroids, then I saw the second version of Asteroids with the little, plastic films over the screen to provide color. It was still black and white, but the plastic film provided color. Then you'd see the next version of Asteroids and the other version of Asteroids. It was a really, really impressive collection that Disney had put together.
Disney is the shit, even though they're calling people racist and stuff like that when their old films have all type of, this from the 70s and stuff. But downtown Disney has a 4-story interactive arcade. They have it's roller coasters, VR roller coasters, VR games. I mean, like literally anything you can think of, virtual reality, augmented reality, it's there. And again, it's 4 stories of amazingness. So yeah, for sure, we've been there a bunch of times, and I haven't been out there in a while, so it'll be cool to in a while. When you live in Orlando and you grow up here, you tend to take it for granted, all the cool shit that we have. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to do, and it's full of tourists, and it's going to be really probably packed because it's right before kids are going back to school. So my kids aren't going back to school, by the way. I pulled them out. We're doing homeschool, unschool, something like that. If anyone has any
Amazing.
resources on that, I would love, to. I'm accepting all input in that area because I can't really necessarily teach them myself, but I know that I can introduce them to experiences where they will teach themselves, if that makes any sense. I know people probably think I'm crazy, but that's my plan.
Really, really cool. Yeah, there are many nice programs online where you can do the homeschooling. But maybe for you, a resource would be the book by Murray Rothbard, if you like the Mises stuff as well, which is the book called Education, Free and Compulsory. And he is talking about why education that is voluntary and education that is in the interest of the kids that they want to do. Not a teacher, not someone telling them what to do, but the education that they choose to do. That this is so much more important. And then when you're giving them the free and the voluntary education, they can grow so much faster. It's amazing. So homeschooling all the way.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. That's exactly, and that was probably in my subconscious too, because I've been, following their principles for a while, and that's definitely like the way I live my life. Is voluntarism is kind of the term, I guess, that would describe it. I feel like nobody should be forced to do anything that they don't want to do, or nobody should harm another person. And I think it's pretty like torturous what we do to our kids. Like they hate it. Like a lot of kids hate school, and they're not learning anything that's of value to them. Kids like to go to learn math, to study your multiplication tables and all that stuff. Like it was kind of like horrid for a lot of people. But I've seen kids that learn math just by having a need to use it, like cooking something and needing to measure and weigh out the ingredients. And now all of a sudden they have to double the recipe, and now they're multiplying. There's real use cases for math. And when the time comes that they have to use it, man, they pick it up and like they're just multiplying, adding, subtracting, like just immediately because they have a need to use it. And it's like, imagine how long it would take them to study, and repeat and go over those multiplication tables that, they just don't necessarily need to do that. So I'm gonna be exploring that, and I'm excited about that.
All right, we seem to be running out of time for today, Boss Lady, but where can people learn more about what you're doing? Do you have a website or a Twitter?
I do. I'm on Twitter you can find me at It's Me Boss Lady, and also on the Bitcoin.pub forum, decentralized TV, and Bite Size Bitcoin. That whole forum, I'm a correspondent on there. And if you're I know we were supposed to do a show, Thomas. I gotta have you. We gotta do like a podcast so I can have everybody aware of your flyer campaign. I want to like really blast this because I think it's a great idea, and we can get people doing videos and get them engaged that way. I'm excited.
Yep, it's just a matter of scheduling. I do with doing the call-in show every morning, it kind of blows up the rest of my schedule. And even today, I didn't write the Bitcoin group or recruit the people to be on the Bitcoin group. So we might have to wait till next week for the Bitcoin group. But I might try to do a Twitch show later. I've been trying to figure out Twitch and video game streaming. Maybe 5 out of the 100 people in the chat are interested in No Man's Sky. So for those 5 people, I might broadcast a little No Man's Sky later on today. It's a space exploration game. I think it could be pretty cool. This is the 3rd version that they've built, trying to make it a good game. So it's kind of interesting in that
Cool.
way too.
I like that. I'm not like a big fan of the video. Like it's not like I wouldn't. I've played VR, I've played video games, but the kids, like my kids, they just go crazy for it. So if you would like, yeah, like if you're willing to share any of that with these kids, they would they would just love it and get super excited. So I think the best way to introduce them to it is something that that they're excited about. When they can spend it, then it's cool. If you just give it to them and they don't quite have a need for it or a use for it, then it's going to be forgotten soon. But show them how they can spend it, and I bet you they remember it.
And it's a strange attitude to have today, but I almost think that Minecraft should be compulsory, that people should be forced to play Minecraft because I just think it's such an interesting game, and it's so interesting on just so many levels, and even just thinking about the programming aspects, the blocks, the sprites that you're essentially making the map every time you play the game. Yeah, definitely Minecraft. And video games have changed so much over the years. I started on Atari and early computer games like Commodore 64 and things like that. And to see them now, a game like Watch Dogs, which is basically like Grand Theft Auto plus hacking. And I don't know that it's appropriate for younger kids. It's very difficult to go through even 5 minutes in the game without killing someone. But as far as storyline for adults, it's like an interactive movie. It really is. Like there's a little bit of play to it and there's a little bit of challenge, but at the same time, you get all this dialogue and this plot, and you get to drive around the actual city of Chicago. It's just a great game, and I'm excited that games have gotten to this point. I've been in and out of them for a while. I kind of skipped the whole World of Warcraft phase. I kind of thought I'd get totally addicted and lose my life in that, and so I didn't do it. But a lot of people did, and they loved World of Warcraft and all these other places that they went. So.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's great, Thomas. I think that it really is the future. We were talking about just decentralized worlds. On the Bitcoin Pub, we had this interesting conversation last night about building, our own reality, and it's actually like really possible now with projects like Decentraland and Matrix. There's actually, Bitcoins. I don't know if you guys know about Bitcoins, but like there's plots of land in virtual world, and they're selling it, and they're growing crops, virtual crops, and harvesting it and selling it for tens of thousands of dollars worth of cryptocurrency. People, it's not real corn. You can't eat it, but it's valuable. It's crazy. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
The
guys,
world is made of corn.
open-minded. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, boss lady, for the call, and
Big
give us a
corn.
call anytime.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. Thanks, Max. It was good chatting with you. This is my first time talking with you. I've really loved your content, so keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on, and call again anytime.
Yep.
Will do. Have a good day, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye. And just to recap some of the things we talked about today, the price of Bitcoin has suddenly come racing back, last of $8,205. We've formed a bit of a cup formation here. You can see that it went down from 8,271 yesterday, down into the 7,700 or 7,800 range, and then suddenly just popped right back as though the Winklevi ETF really wasn't that important all along. We had a fundraising campaign for Max to give out some Bitcoin to the people of this music festival in Germany, and we raised more than we wanted. Max has to give out more people to more people than he wanted to. Thousands and thousands of people now. We started off small. I was just, give him $1. You know, you got $10, you can give him $1. And Max is like, yeah, but there's hundreds of people there. There's thousands of people there. If I give them all $1, I won't be able to pay my rent and eat food. And I was like, oh, the people will take care of you. They've got extra dollars. So now we've got extra dollars to give away. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for giving us a thumbs up and a share. Be sure to subscribe down below. 30% of our audience is not subscribed. Get a YouTube account. Join the subscribers, the 70%. But thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Max, anything you'd like to say in closing? You have to give out all these dollars now. There's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, guys, you really did build up the pressure, and but that's a good thing, right? And I'm really looking forward to this festival. And you know what? I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm not giving away my money. I'm giving away the money that random people that I have no idea who they are just sent to me so that I could give it to them. And this is just gonna blow their mind when they realize what kind of magic internet money Bitcoin really is. So, well, first of all, thank you, Bitcoin, right? Because that's amazing that we can do this today. This is the future. It's incredible. But then further, thank you very, 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 very much for all those donations. And I hope I can make it up to you with some nice videos of the reaction of the people that are going to see those Bitcoin. So tomorrow we're going to be there pretty much the entire day and Sunday as well. So we might do 1 or 2 live shows depending on how the quality of the video is going to be with the bad internet connection might be. So let's see. Otherwise, I'm just going to make the videos offline and upload them afterwards. So you can find them here on the World Crypto Network, either live or in the next couple days.
And that's the other great thing about this, Max, is that now you have a story to tell. Even when you're talking to your friends tonight at the party, you can be like, hey, have you guys gotten $1 in Bitcoin yet? And they'll say no, and then you can give them $1. And then they'll say, hey, you know, aren't you worried you're going to give out so many dollars in Bitcoin, you'll have no money left? You'll be like, nah, the internet gave me money to give away. I got special money just for giving away. That's how things have changed. And they'll be like, you're a socialist or something, or a statist or some kind of thing. They'll call you some name, but it should be fine. And it's going to be super exciting. So thanks to everybody who joined us today. Sorry, probably no Bitcoin group later today. I should have done it on Wednesday, and then Wednesday becomes Thursday, and then I have the meetup, and then Thursday becomes Friday, and I do a talk show, and then now it's like, you know, hours away. But we will try to get together on Twitch later today. Somebody was critiquing No Man's Sky in the chat. They say they don't like it. It's not a good game. You haven't heard it when I've talked over it yet. Remember, the whole Twitch thing is just me talking while I play video games. So I can already tell you that's going to include cursing when I die, cursing when I'm lost, upsettedness, rejection, blaming the video game, and maybe even some space commentary. I might do some Star Trek voices, try to pretend I'm in Star Trek. At one point when I was in Amsterdam, I had the great fun of playing the Star Trek Bridge Crew virtual reality video game. And you get to be on the bridge and work with actual other people. And you're like, engineer, raise the shields, navigator, full speed ahead, and so forth. It was pretty fun. So I might try to do that tonight with No Man's Sky, even though I don't have anybody to play with. It'll just be for the chat in the Twitch. Because we're, you know, the young people, they're into the Twitch and the streaming the video games. So we gotta stay hip. So, but that's about it for today. We talked a lot. We had some great calls. Crypto Daddy called in. Everybody in the chat's from Florida. Surprise. So try to have a Florida chat meetup. Send us a picture of all you guys together at a Bitcoin shop or something. That'd be cool. But I'm running out of voice. I'm getting tired. So until next time, bye-bye.
As always, a pleasure, guys. See you on the next one.